Bike TenTenths podcast. I'm your host, Robert Braille, and I'm sitting in the Kangan Motorsports studio with my co-host, Adam Nielsen, who had a wild weekend, and I did not. Well, kind of, but not really.
It was a weekend.
You had a weekend.
It was a weekend. I don't know why, but this was way more interesting than festival was for us.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of stories to come out of this one, whereas in the past, it's like you would expect, like, you went to a track, you hung out with your buds, track things happened.
We did so many things not at the track that we'll talk about.
Yep.
Car related, no less.
Yeah, sort of. Well, yeah, car
full on car related.
Car related.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, it was a weekend. Let me tell you.
But you brought, I guess I got a sweet present.
Yeah,
you brought
we
me.
Both have that. But
yes,
I brought you yours.
You brought me Nesquik banana flavored milk,
which we've talked about it on the show before.
Yep. So
you got some before.
I know you didn't buy it, so I want to thank John at Petrobox.
Yeah, absolutely.
John at Petrobox for being so generous.
Oh, he's gonna be so pissed. I love it so much.
I want to thank John at Petrobox for being so generous as to remember that I like fake banana flavored Nesquik.
I hope he's watching the YouTube.
So thank you, John at Petrobox, for the Nesquik. I really do appreciate it. That's nice. That's thoughtful. Very thoughtful. I don't get a lot of gifts from people, so
not good ones.
No, there's
at least.
Wait, there's still something coming.
There is something coming. I don't know what it is.
To my address.
It's coming to your address, yep. It's for sure a trap because he said it wasn't.
Oh,
but who it's coming from, there's a 0% chance it's not a trap.
Then you're hiding that from me still.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but you don't know. You're not going to tell me who it is?
Oh, it's my dad's longtime friend, Kevin Moore, who we've talked briefly about on the show. He's the one who brought my son the Subaru T-shirt for his birthday. And it's
such a bad
He's
trap.
Constantly up to no good.
It's going to be the best or worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited.
He's known me since I was like a wee little lad.
Yep. When you would drink Nesquik banana milk regularly.
Like when I was crawling in diapers.
Oh.
Like he's been friends with I think my parents were friends with him and his wife before I was born, probably.
That
like
makes sense.
They're
old time friends.
They're as close to aunt and uncle as you get for me. So I mean, I have aunts and uncles, but like that's who they are for me when I was growing up.
Yeah, they're equivalently close.
I think they might even be my godparents.
That's a good way to put it, because if you're that,
I think they are.
Close. He's for sure sending us something.
It's not good.
It's going to be fun for the listeners.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So,
but it's been, like we've gotten some nice stuff in the mail lately.
Yeah.
The Eyes Up Auto Art picture that
from Zach.
I totally thought E-Man bought it and mailed it to us. It's funnier now to know that
Zach just sent it to you, and then E-Man tried to buy it.
The best part was he completely cold shouldered him too.
Yep. E-Man goes, "That's where that went." Damn it!
Yeah, they reached out, tried to buy it, and it didn't even respond.
It's mine now.
It'll eventually go on the wall.
Yeah.
If I could ever remember to get a little clasp thing on the back.
Zach had a confession that I really appreciated on the podcast group this week. He said that he also has never done a donut.
I figured that a few people would come out and say, you know what? Neither have I.
The excuse I'm going to use is that pretty much everything I've ever owned has been front-wheel drive.
That's fair.
Because even the Audi was, essentially front-wheel drive. So it had an all-wheel drive system, but it was electronic.
You couldn't disconnect it.
You couldn't disconnect it, and it wouldn't lock itself in. And if it sent slip, it would send. And so it just.
There's no way.
Excuse me. Wow. They didn't work for the donut things.
Yeah, and I never did it with the 240.
Yeah.
Or the Z.
And the S10, it most of the time just barely ran, so I wasn't going to tempt fate.
Well, I guess the only time I ever tried it, the 240, was when it was open diff. So obviously that didn't go very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I appreciate the confessions. That's the consortium on Facebook.
There were a couple.
Is a safe place.
Yeah, despite the fact that a few people were taken aback by such a statement.
You're not an American?
It's fine.
Doing your bald eagle and my big red white trash donut making machine.
There was something I saw this weekend. What was it? There were eagles. I saw like 4 eagles, and they were flying above something, but I don't remember what it was. But I was like, oh my gosh, I've never felt so American in my life.
Like they were flying over like a Camaro or...
Yeah, it was something along those lines in a field. Not the one that Dalton bought, though.
Foreshadowing.
It's fine. Stay tuned.
Or spoilers, I guess, to that point.
Stay tuned.
Before we get too far into it, I want to remind everybody to head over to techbosscompany.com. That is TEKBOSS company.com. They have awesome scooters and ATVs and dirt bikes and probably the best price and warranty that you'll be able to find anywhere. Because the Don warranty is about as good as it gets. Because it doesn't have like it's a manufacturer's warranty till whenever he's not. If there's a problem with something he buys or you buy from him, he'll fix it for real.
Yeah,
he'll probably upgrade it.
So Don graciously loaned us a few of these for this weekend.
Yeah, what did you actually borrow?
I was gonna look up this before the show started, and then I didn't get time. So I have we had a 600 watt. One that had, I think it was one of those Mad Air ones that had suspension on it. Okay. 600 watt.
How about this free ride 48 volt 600 watt?
That looks right.
Okay.
That looks right. Yeah, $600. We had 2 of those.
So you can get 10% off with the code 10tenths.
Yep. We had 2 of those. And then we had one that was like a 350 watt non-suspension, non-air tired. I think I saw it up towards the top.
Yeah, one of the first ones you see.
Yeah.
The Mad Air 360 or 300 or the Mad Air 36 volt 350 watt.
I don't think it was even that one.
No,
I think it might have been the one below that, the
8
250 watt one, maybe. That was $350 there.
The ET Mini.
That one. So that was the one he loaned me, and the other 2 were loaned to Dalton and Ryan, with the thought that they were pretty sure they were going to buy them.
Yep.
So the one that he gave me, the Mini Pro, really good scooter if you live in downtown Des Moines and you don't want to own a car.
Just to get like
if you want
a few miles.
If you live within a half mile or 3/4 of a mile from where you work and you don't want to walk every day or whatever that is the perfect scooter for that. It's great.
Because I assume it folds up, right?
It folds in half, just like a Razor scooter. It's only like 9 pounds. It was super light. Has a headlight and a little display that tells you how fast you're going and tells you how much battery life you have and stuff like that. It has no like real friction brakes. It has a regen switch. You push up. So on like your right hand is a little thumb switch that is throttle, for lack of a better term,
right? The
go switch. And then the other side has a regen button that you can use to slow the scooter down and also charge the battery at some level.
Huh.
And then apparently there's also a mode where you can put it in and just kick it like a regular scooter, and it regens then as well, which I didn't know about and somehow accidentally turned on and thought I broke it.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
So that was good. That required a call to tech support, a.k.a. Don.
But he hooked you right back up then.
Yeah, got it fixed. But that being said, great scooter, not the one I would buy.
No, you would go with something bigger.
The other one, the 600 watt one that we had some had good quality suspension on it as well as air filled tires.
Yes.
So not only does it absorb bumps, which is crucial because that other one, if you hit a decent sized pothole, you're going end over end.
Yeah, it's like it's like a Razor scooter.
Yeah, it's just a Razor scooter with a battery in it. This 600 watt one will soak up bumps. It'll also go off road a lot better.
Yep.
And it had enough power that it'll go up and down hills a lot better. I had to push,
which would make sense,
to go up hills, like pretty much at all. Granted, Mid Ohio is a very hilly place, so take that as you will. But I think like the average track day enthusiast looking to buy one of these, this is where you need to be.
Right.
This goes way faster than, frankly, it needs to.
Which is funny because this is the 600 watts.
Yeah, he goes all the way up to 2,000 watts.
I've driven that one.
In some level of increment. We were doing like 25 miles an hour, which is plenty fast.
For a pit bike or a pit scooter? Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're hauling. It's plenty fast, let me tell you. Battery life, perfectly reasonable, easy to charge, easy to maintain, has good, like almost too good of brakes.
Yep.
But it'll soak up the bumps. You can take it off-road. You can take it through the grass. This is the one I was at. And a bunch of people were asking me questions about them this weekend, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I told them, like, oh, I have a friend who's got a dealer license and he sells these or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's like, oh, is it like $1,000? Like, nope, $600. And like, I can get you a little bit of a deal with a code and stuff like that. I'm like, really? So I think I probably sold a couple of these.
I hope so.
We actually ended up only coming home with one because some lady saw us driving around on them and came and asked us questions, and she bought one on the website right there in front of us. We had Don on the phone. He goes, yep, you're good to go. And she just took the scooter and left.
That's so good. That is so good.
So, that being said, everybody was asking, like, oh, can I get them? Don will drop ship.
Yep.
But I think you can get a little bit cheaper if you don't have to ship them. I am more than willing to bring them to any event I go to.
Same here.
So, buy them, let Don know. He'll get a hold of me. We'll make it happen.
Yep.
I'll probably be, sounds like I think I'll be bringing a few of these to Topeka and Festival if people will follow through.
Perfect.
So, these were sweet, though. I was really into these. The one I really want to try next is a dirt bike.
Yeah, those look like a lot of fun.
Like, I think that's like a similar wattage dirt, but I think that the problem is that these might be miniature to some level. Like, I think they're about 50cc sized dirt bikes.
Yeah, maybe a little smaller than that.
And so maybe I won't fit on it very well. But if one of these fits me well enough, I think I might try one of these next.
Yeah, those look like a lot of fun. I feel like those are the type of things I'm going to get in trouble, though, because I want to jump things.
He told me, and this may interest some of our locals, he told me he has demos for most everything he has. Maybe not the same power, but at least the same configuration.
Yep.
So that you can try them out before you buy them.
Yeah, so if you're local.
I know he's got one of these. I might have to see.
I know they had last time I was hanging out with Josh, they had some come in, or were having some come in. So, yeah, so they have a decent amount on hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're in the Des Moines area, use our code and save some money, and then just go get it.
There you go. You can try it out first if you're a little curious about which one you want to buy.
Yep.
We were talking, Josh Fettis really wanted one that you could sit down on, which I don't think is the way to go for a track vehicle. But they have those there, too. So.
Yeah, they a little bit of everything. Like, all the way down to like the razor size scooter, all the way up to the 2,000 watt off road scooter to little go karts or dirt bikes. Even as a mini gas powered like a mini bike.
Yep.
And those I've always liked those. Those are super fun.
The scooter that he gave Dalton had a drink holder on it, a cup holder.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't need any specialty tools to remove that, do I? And he's like, no, but why? I'm like, this is Dalton.
Yeah, we should probably take that away from him.
I don't want him drinking and driving. To be reasonable about it. He's like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you want this to come back.
Yeah. I mean, he's willing to buy it, but I don't want him to buy it because he broke it.
That is techbosscompany.com, TEKBOSS company.com, and use the code 10tenths. You get 10% off your order. And then, we can get free delivery to you if you're at an event that we're at.
Yeah. So, lots of fun.
Hell yeah.
Too much fun, frankly.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I think he's going to give me a 1,600 watt one, which terrifies me.
That'll be perfect.
Also, apparently, and I don't know why any sane human being would use this, he has a 1,600 watt skateboard.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I don't know if it's that one exactly, but I've seen those before, and no, they're terrifying.
That's a hard no.
I'm not in on that.
Hard nope.
Not a fan of the electric skateboards.
It's like almost an off-road wheel skateboard that you could.
Do you have bindings?
No,
you just stand on it.
Yep.
Like a surfboard, or a longboard. It's probably like a longboard.
Yeah, it's a longboard, but it has bigger tires on it.
Oh, I would get so hurt.
So hurt. Badly. There's
no way I'm making it through a weekend on one of those.
Nah, bro. Dalton's like, well, I should bring one of these next time. Just don't.
Broken ankle, for sure.
Do not bring that to festival.
No, there's too many other ankles.
They'll try to figure out how many people they can carry on it at one time. It'll end poorly.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Though you try to jump it.
That 600 watt one will carry 2 people. 2 very drunk people.
They didn't have to be drunk, but it helps.
I mean, that's the only way we were able to verify it.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Gridlife is serious.
About the pit bikes?
No. I just want people to know Gridlife is very serious.
They're serious.
The racing is serious.
That is true.
The racing is as serious as it comes.
Yes.
I swear to you, it's not all shenanigans.
I feel like this entire episode is going to contradict that.
That's why I'm prefacing this. I read there was a significant and lengthy post on a group called SCCA members on Facebook about doing live stream level stuff at more SCCA events because those people, a handful of people on there seem to think that it's like a relatively cheap endeavor. And they're so wrong.
They couldn't be.
Like,
more
I don't
wrong.
think they understand that there's probably 20 to 30 people involved in the production side of that. Like, not even counting this weekend, there were 4 people, including me, on the announcing team.
Yes.
That doesn't include, there's probably 20 to 30 people.
Oh, yeah, with the camera crew and audio and like just all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a proper team.
Yeah. It's a real deal. Like, people are throwing out like $10,000 numbers, and I don't think that will even scratch it.
No, that'd get you and me with a webcam, man. That's not going to get you.
Yeah. And they're like, well, people might volunteer for it. Like, SCCA can't fill corner worker stations. Let's calm down.
Yep. Sorry, guys.
But there were a bunch of comments about Gridlife not being real racing, and one guy even called it rolling car shows.
Does he not watch the live stream? He must not, clearly.
Well, there was somebody who was talking about how they went to Gridlife South Festival, and that there was no racing there because it was pre-GLTC, and to him...
Oh, it was just time attack.
To him, if it wasn't wheel-to-wheel, it's just HPD.
Okay. Well... Yeah,
he was one of those guys.
High horse. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong. No,
insert coconut horse noises here.
No, but yeah, you can see where his attitude's coming from because he's the same guy that writes the email to the board that says, "Hey, you should really take racing off the advertisement for that autocross."
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But I just want people to know that, like, if you've never been to a Gridlife event, you should go. It is very serious on track.
Yeah.
It's as serious as they come.
It's as serious as it gets, man.
Absolutely.
The amount of money, the amount of dedication and effort.
Primarily that.
Driver
honestly.
skill. I mean, it's no joke.
Yeah.
On from any level. Like, it doesn't matter what class, doesn't matter what they're doing. There are people taking that as serious as it gets. As serious as any SCCA nationals on any level.
But sometimes your racing team has a drinking problem.
Yeah.
So should we open it first?
Yeah, don't tell me that the SCCA doesn't have that.
No.
Like, really? Autocross or solo nationals? You really don't think they're doing the same shit at night?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah, exactly. That's not real racing, though, Robbie.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can do that drunk.
Yeah.
It's in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Please don't do that drunk. We can open this up. As always, our opener is presented by Factory Fabrication. If you need to get caged or railed, Booney has you covered. If you need stairs, railings, cages, whether it's in your car or in your home, we don't judge. We don't kink shame. Like I've said this before. If you want a cage in your house.
Do we not?
I don't kink shame.
Okay.
You do.
That's fair.
Judgmental guy over
You're
there.
You're not wrong. I'm okay with that.
No, I don't kink shame.
I mean, keep it in your house.
No,
you do you.
You can put it in your yard.
Don't let my opinion, my bad opinion of you, spoil your fun.
Oh yeah, please no.
But
like, if it's something I'm not into, still tell me about it. I want to know.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm seriously the opposite of a kink shamer. I want to know it all. Tell me if it gets weird.
Why are we talking about this, Robbie?
We were talking about cages and houses.
This is not. This is not where this This is not the Pornhub podcast.
I'm done here. Then
you are not Asa Akira.
I get told that all the time.
This is where Robbie says that if life would be so much easier if he was a hot girl.
It would be. You know how big this podcast would be?
Sexist, Robbie. You can't say that anymore. It's just 2021, man.
I feel like we'd be more popular if we were both really attractive girls.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, but this is 2021. We can't say that.
How about we're less popular because we're not attractive girls? Is that
That's fair.
That's the same thing? I don't know.
I mean, it gets the point across.
Yeah. So anyway, if you need to get custom furniture, railings, cages, stairs. Hit up factoryfabrication.com. They got you covered. Wood, metal. I mean, I've seen them do some super intricate, crazy stuff. I think it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, someone had this ridiculous curved staircase, and they wanted like the beam to be like one solid
piece.
I-beam. So he had to have some special company out of Chicago bend it in just such a way, and it was like
it was a deal.
The amount of effort, time, and money it took to just get started.
Yeah,
mind blowing.
Yeah,
but like someone had an idea and a dream, and they're like, "This is what I want," and they made it happen. It was impressive all the way around. So yeah, if you want to hit up their website, otherwise Factor Fabrication on Instagram or Factor Fab Racing if you want to follow the racing endeavor. Just check all that stuff out.
Don't do that though; it's lame.
That's not lame. It's super cool.
Nah, it's just a Miata.
The team's super cool. Okay,
it's just a Miata.
No, it's cool.
Nah.
So what do you got?
I don't know how we have managed to avoid this topic for like 5.5 years now, but we're going to talk about Smokey Eunuch.
Ooh.
He's one of my favorite characters in racing.
Yes.
Sometimes I love the lies and mythology that exist around him more than the real things, but the real things nonetheless are about as good as they get.
Yes.
And this is what we're going to talk about here, just scratches the surface of the man that is Smokey Eunuch. And shameless other podcast plug. If you want more Smokey Eunuch action, Dinner with Racers does not only a couple of amazing podcasts, but also of like a movie or show, TV show style thing on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
That you should go and watch.
It's all very good.
They're not paying us for that, but they should.
Of course.
Anyway, this came across my Facebook feed here semi-recently from our old friends at Car Throttle, who we've almost done nothing with in probably 2 or 3 years. And this was posted 3 years ago. But
do we still have a Car Throttle?
We absolutely still have a Car Throttle.
Do we still push to it?
I have not logged into a Car Throttle in over 2 years.
Okay. We had an auto push to it, though, didn't we?
No, I had to fill that out. That was manual.
Okay, shoot.
Yeah, it was like a lot of work, actually.
Yeah, that's not fun, then.
No. So this is 7 hilariously mad racing cheats that were all the work of Smokey Eunuch.
Oh, these will be good.
Yeah, so I enjoy these a lot. They kind of start out mild and work their way towards the wild. Starting out with cold, you can tell these guys are from Britain. Petrol. Gas.
Gasoline.
Good old-fashioned racing fuel. So
some yeehaw juice.
Obviously, when things are cold, they're more dense.
Yep.
When things are warm, they're less dense. So you can, if it's really cold, you can put more of it in the same space.
Okay.
And then as it heats and expands, it's also being consumed because race car.
Of course.
And so NASCAR at the time did not have any fuel temperature rules, which they do now.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, weird. And so he was known for doing this, putting fuel in his car that was at near freezing for whatever it is. I don't know what gasoline's freezing point is. It must be very, very cold.
Like frozen with dry ice, or like kept it by dry ice.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be. But it's hilarious, nonetheless. I enjoy it very much.
You know, for somebody that didn't have a lot of engineering education, he sure had a lot of like engineering type exploits. Like he clearly understood the physics behind it, and then utilized it.
Engineers make it way harder than it needs to be, Robbie. I don't.
No, they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do not.
I'm just gonna keep my engineering comments to myself. How about that? It's probably best.
So
for
hurtful.
both of us.
So hurtful.
It's fine. But yeah, it's funny.
That one's good.
It's not a thing that like you really need to do for most racing, but like I don't know, maybe you guys should think about it for the endurance car. Fewer pit stops.
I bet there's not a rule in WRL yet.
Not yet. Going to write one.
Yeah, we could easily do that.
Hopefully no one's listening.
Dude, like anything to keep the heat out of that car would be good too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Is it a little rough? Should get warm quick.
So the exhaust runs right next to the cage.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So those the cage gets too hot to touch. So we have a lot of we have a lot of insulating to do.
Oh, that's
that was like we lean into
Can you reroute it?
Not to give away ideas, but yeah, okay. We want to do something with the exhaust because the exhaust comes down and then goes up around by the driver and back. So it's like it loops back or adds like 3 feet it doesn't need.
Yeah.
So we're looking at options on that. But yeah, like that's
titanium things. You should put titanium. Oh, excuse me. I have the hiccups, Robbie, and I don't know what's up with that.
You drunk?
Maybe.
All right. On life.
It's probably because I drank like 9 bottles of water before I came here because it's 1,000,000,000 degrees outside and I've been out
and it's
the heat
130% humidity.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Every morning when I walk out of my house and into the outside,
yep,
which is terrible, and I don't recommend it.
No.
My glasses fog over.
Ugh.
That's how humid it is here.
I woke up the last 2 mornings and I come outside, like downstairs, and it's like all my windows just look like they're bleeding. Like it's just soaked.
Yeah.
It's gross.
And it's not even raining. It's out of control.
No. I assume that's what Topeka at Gridlife's going to be like.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be great, but it's going
to rain.
Do not put
dude, we've never gone to Topeka when it doesn't rain.
I've been there.
Well, I haven't.
I've been there without the rain.
The only time I've ever been to Topeka is when it rains.
Great.
So, my fault. I'm fine with that. Broad shoulders. Next up, Smokey's capsule car.
I don't know if I know this one.
So this one was one of his Indianapolis 500 endeavors in 1964. It was called the Hearst Floor Shifter Special. So it has kind of like a center monocoque that runs up the middle, and then the driver sits between the front and rear wheels on what would be like the
left-hand side?
Yeah, the driver's side for a normal vehicle.
Yep.
For a normal American vehicle. But the whole idea was to keep like the center of gravity really low and shift the weight the direction you want it for an oval car.
Yep.
But what he struggled with was that it had weird offset center of mass because the engine was mounted in the back. It was rear mounted.
Yes.
So he ran a gigantic fuel tank up front
on the nose?
On the nose to balance it out.
How have I never seen a picture of this car before?
Yeah, that surprises me because I have seen quite a few pictures of this car. It's kind of a very famous car for him. Yeah. I think it's really the Hearst like gold and black livery, which I think is really cool with the red accents. I think it's super cool.
That's a good color scheme.
Yeah, I really like that. But yeah, not long after this car was introduced, despite the fact that it wasn't all that successful, they did institute fuel capacity regulations for the Indy 500 because they are fun haters.
Party poopers. This seems like something that they kind of utilize in like sprint cars and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. How did like a race that's famous for being a certain length, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the whole point of it is that it's 500 miles. How is there not a fuel capacity regulation? Just like wouldn't that be one of the first things you think of when you're writing the rule book?
Yeah, your gas tank is X number of gallons.
Yeah.
Max.
To keep somebody from showing up with a bomb. Like X number of gallons of this type of fuel.
Yeah.
So like someone's not showing up with some like nitromethane breathing monstrosity that has 250 gallons of fuel on it so he doesn't have to stop.
Yeah, it never stops. I don't know.
That just shocked me.
You think that would have been like day one stuff.
Yeah. That to me that seems like day one stuff. But I guess maybe that's just because we've come so far.
Yeah, say at the time they're probably there's no way.
Yeah. That never crossed my mind. You just make the car as small as possible and then you put whatever fuel you can in it.
Yeah. They're just happy to finish at the time.
That might be true.
All right.
So next up, a new way to port exhaust manifolds. So in his early days, he ran Hudson's.
Okay.
And the Hudson's have notoriously bad cast exhaust manifolds. We having troubles, Robbie?
No,
we are recording.
We are recording, and it just like the way the light was hitting this, it looked like you were not being recorded.
Oh, that would be.
I panicked. I panicked.
So the Hudson's that he started with early on in his early days had notoriously bad
flow
exhaust gaskets or exhaust manifolds. They're cast, they're stupid, but the rules said that you could not hand port them with a grinder. Okay. No hand porting allowed. So he figured out what is essentially now modern day sandblasting.
Yep.
Passing abrasive back and forth through it.
Yeah,
to open up the ports and polish them out more.
We actually have one of those machines at work. It's an abrasive flow machine. It basically takes like putty and just forces it through.
Yeah. So he figured he's probably instrumental in coming up with that system.
Yep.
The idea behind that for his Hudson's, which is really cool. So
that's unique.
One thing I think is interesting that I never really realized before. I didn't know that he had an early tie to Hudson's. Cars the movie.
Yep.
One of my favorite movie trilogies.
Of course.
So Lightning McQueen's mentor is the fabulous Hudson Hornet, Doc Hudson.
Yep.
And then when he passes away...
spoilers.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Lightning McQueen goes and finds a truck to continue his mentorship and try and get him back on top, and that truck's name is Smokey.
Yep.
And I knew that they reached out to the Smokey Unick family and they got permission to use his name and his likeness and whatever. But I never realized that there was the Hudson tie there, which is super cool.
That is.
It makes it even neater.
Yes, I completely agree.
I love those movies. They're the best.
They're good. Well, the second one doesn't exist.
Obviously it's not the first and third one, but like it's not the worst movie my son watches.
That's probably very true.
We're setting the bar real low here, but like I'll take Cars 2 over Alvin and the Chipmunks any day of the week.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I flippin' hate the Chipmunks. I hate it.
Do they sing in that like the whole time?
Of course they do, and it's so obnoxious. I hate it so much.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Keep it that way.
I have no intention to, but
he loves it.
That poor kid. We need to find him some new stuff.
I hate it so much.
All right, but again, that's a weird thing that they would write the rules like you can't hand grind it. Like, why would you even specify? Just like you can't port them. Hard stop.
Yeah,
I don't care how you do it
because they didn't know that there was any other way to do it. So, Smokey's 1968 Trans Am Camaro.
Is this the 7/8 car?
No, that's a Chevelle, and that's farther down, and that's not real.
Fine.
So this was built to be in Trans Am. It's a 68 Camaro, which everybody knows what they look like. Smokey wanted this Camaro to break small block speed records at Bonneville, and so that's kind of what this car was designed for. It was essentially supposed to conform to stock design, but Smokey obviously found ways around that.
Of course.
Because he's Smokey. He used thinner window glass to reduce weight, cut the subframe to raise the floor pan and lower the ride height, and then tilted the front end to improve front end aerodynamics. Even had the body panels dipped in acid to shave crucial weight off the Camaro. Another case of a stock car not being so stock.
Not so much.
Very much stock appearing. But when you really know what you're looking at, there's a lot changed. So I think this is about as cool as they come. Like, this is fascinating car building to me.
Yeah. Where you basically gut it and then put it back together and modify it.
I love the idea of like moving the floor pan and making that stuff fit better so you can lower the car farther down while still maintaining a stock body. I just think that's so cool. This is such an incredible piece of racing history.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm sure this car's been passed back and forth across an auction block or two in its day.
Of course.
And I'm sure it's very many, many monies, but pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It doesn't really say, so I don't know if he was successful or not.
Let's just assume he was, just for the fun of it.
So, next up, the 11-foot fuel line.
I love this one.
Yeah, so back in the day when he was racing NASCAR mandated some fuel line regulations, but didn't specifically say. Obviously, they had like the size of the fuel tank and stuff like that, but they had no regulation on the size of the fuel line. So he snaked the fuel line all over the car, like back and forth and up and down and left and right. And it was a 2-inch diameter hose, air quote, or a hard pipe. I don't even know. And it was 11 feet long. So somewhere near an extra 5 gallons of gasoline this car can carry, which is a huge
I did not realize it was that much.
Yeah, it's
that's
giant.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's stories that I think are true where the car was in tech inspection and they were tearing the car apart and Smokey was getting agitated about it and they had the gas tank pulled out of the car and he fired it up and drove it away.
Yep.
Because he was so mad.
They left the gas tank there.
Yeah, left the gas tank sitting there, just fired the car up and drove away, but it had 5 gallons of gas in it still, so like it could go quite a ways.
Yeah.
So I just love that stuff. It's so cool to me. I think it's so funny. Like, I'm sure there's Smokey Unix of the world today. Like,
of course.
If you listen to Dinner with Racers, like they'll even talk about like those crew chiefs that they talk to. They're like, yeah, obviously we're doing stuff, but like we can't talk about it.
We're not going to share it.
I can't. Like even if it's not a thing they still do, is like I can't talk about it now. Like it legit will still get me in trouble.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And I can't wait for their memoirs.
Yeah, it was funny on some of those episodes because like they'll kind of hint at it and then they'll bleep it out so it's not public. But
yeah,
like you could tell it's just like these got to be like super unique, awesome ways of interpreting the rules.
Yeah, yeah. And then like when I look at any rule book, Gridlife Time Attack or GLTC, or even I spent a lot of time researching a lot of the different classes in SCCA's autocross solo stuff, and there's a lot of little things here and there that I think people haven't really pushed the limits of that I think you could.
Oh yeah.
And like I don't know why, but that stuff fascinates me. I just love it.
So you're the reason at the end of the year when we have a meeting in the mid of TT, it's like, okay, now we have to add this rule, and now we have to clarify that rule. And it's just we spent 5 hours rewriting the same rule book, and it's like barely changed, but like you got to clarify everything so you don't show up again. There has been
a clarification and a rewording of a Gridlife rule because of me, and I don't even compete.
So good. So, which class was that?
Street. The supercharger rule.
Did they change that?
It's changed.
Damn it.
And now it's completely different because they changed the boost rules entirely.
Oh.
So originally the story was that it included you have to use stock frames, supercharger, or turbocharger. And then underneath it says for turbocharged cars, specifically, for turbocharged cars, you're only allowed to use like whatever the number was, 10%, 20%, whatever the number was,
like 8,
over factory boost. But it didn't say and supercharged. It just said turbocharged. It didn't say turbo and supercharged cars. And so that, to me, meant that supercharged cars could run an unlimited amount of boost with no penalty.
Yeah.
And so, yeehaw, right? But now the rule is that I think it's 41 pound per minute flow rate compressor maps are the biggest you're allowed to have because Josh Hulka and his street class STI, or maybe it's just a WRX. I can't remember if it started out as an STI or not, but he has the S209 turbocharger on that, which he wrote, like a, I can't even remember what you call that when you write the rule committee. For
like a clarification,
for like an inclusion of a rule.
Oh, just a formal request.
Yeah, and like he wrote to make sure that the turbocharger he wanted to put on there was allowed.
Yep.
And Abe is pretty open about it. He made a really compelling argument. He got the turbocharger in the class, and he at that point could make like way more power than anybody else can make within the class rules.
Yep.
And so in order to kind of balance that back out again a little bit, they basically took what that turbo's flow rate is and made that the flow rate legal for anybody. So you can use non-stock turbos as long as they don't exceed 41 pound per minute flow rates.
Okay. That makes sense.
So the other reason that they kind of included that was because some of the older turbocharged chassis, like specifically the Mazda Speed Miata, nobody makes that turbo anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're not easy to get. and it was kind of a semi-proprietary turbo to that car, and there ain't shit of them out there to begin with. So it's all but impossible to get that turbo, and it makes it really expensive to run inside of the class. Whereas nowadays, everyone just takes that turbo off and bolts a different one on it that is a similar size turbo and has similar characteristics, but isn't the factory turbo.
Yeah.
So that allows a few of those cars, those special case scenarios, to hopefully be a little bit more cost reasonable and competitive.
Sounds like a good.
Not that I've ever seen a Mazda speed me out to try to compete in street class, but maybe someone should now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool.
Yeah, the 11-foot rule line or 11-foot fuel line. I think it's super hilarious. So, and then the next one up, the original Deflate gate. So I guess what this is that he put like a ball inside of the gas tank that was full of air to displace a capacity when they were measuring the capacity of the fuel tank, and then took the air out of it so they could put more fuel in it is essentially how it boils down. So
that's a pretty blatant cheat at that point.
Yeah, this is to me, like a lot of his rules were like reading between the lines, or a lot of his tricks were reading between the lines and finding what I think were still arguably legal things inside of the rules.
Within the rules, but however outside the spirit.
Just be sure, that's fine. But this one to me is an obvious cheat and kind of a bummer because of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. This one's, regardless of what the rules said, this one's pretty obvious.
I love winning on creativity, but this is a flat out cheat.
This is cheating. And this is not a
like. I'm totally cool with the 11-foot long, 2-inch diameter fuel line.
Yep,
totally okay with that. That's amazing. This is less cool.
No, this one's more straight cheating.
Yeah. So, and then the last one, the famous 7/8 scale Chevelle, which is not real.
Not real.
What the urban myth, the urban legend to this is that he made a Chevelle that was 7/8 the size of the original one.
Yep.
And actually made two of them, and then the story goes that he actually said, "Okay, you can go out and measure it. There's another one out in the parking lot. Go measure it." And they went over there and they measured the second one he made.
Yep.
So that's not what actually happened. It is a real size car. However, the floor has been changed, the rear end has been changed, the front end has been changed. Many things were changed to make it more slippery, more aerodynamic, better weight distributed, stuff like that. So it isn't. It still is a very fascinating car, and there's a whole video that Dinner with Racers does. They found one of the guys who owns this car.
Yep.
And they go talk to him. It's a fascinating video to watch. But the 7/8 scale part of it is not real.
I'll say in the same breath, I can't remember if it proved to be not true or not, but like he had a 7/8 scale tape measure.
Yeah.
I think that I think was true.
I can't say for sure.
But I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember that being one of the stories,
which is super hilarious.
So here, use mine.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, Adam is the modern day Smokey Eunuch. The way he tries to interpret the Gridlife rules, and then
we were talking about this in one of my group chats yesterday. Actually, the only thing keeping me from ruining a bunch of Gridlife time attack classes is a lottery win.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, like it's kind of funny because like you'll come up to me and like at like an event, like if you did this, and this, you destroy that class, and like you look into it like. He's fucking right.
I have a Club TR car that I think could genuinely disrupt that class. And there was a long discussion about Club TR on the Gridlife Time Attack.
I saw that
group.
Yep.
And no one mentions it at all.
Huh.
And I genuinely think it could really shake that class up.
That'd be awesome.
So,
keeping it close to your.
I've already talked about it
publicly
on the live stream.
Where was I?
Spring kickoff. You were focused on your racing.
No.
Yep, that happened.
Oh, spring kickoff.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought when you said that, I immediately went to like last weekend to summer meet.
Mid-summer meet. Nope, spring kickoff.
Yeah, so I definitely didn't hear
in the live stream. Or maybe it was NCM. Maybe it was NCM. Abe and I were talking about cars we would build for classes. I can't remember which.
I want to say it was NCM because I did hear a good chunk of that conversation.
I can't remember which, but I specifically stated the car I would build for Club TR, and I still think it's...
I know you were going to do a turbocharged or supercharged Cobalt for street class.
For street class. I still want to... Well, I think I'd do the turbo car now.
Yeah.
But I still think a front-wheel drive Cobalt SS could do really well in street class,
yep.
Although I have another car that I think would do even better. But we don't need to talk about it. To me, that class boils down, because it's such a limited rules space.
Yep.
That class boils down to how much power can you make and how light can you make your car.
Right.
It's a power to weight class.
Essentially, yes.
Essentially. That's not what the rules are written as, but that's what it is.
Yes.
And so basically what you need to do is you need to find the lightest chassis you can find that makes the most power. And the lightest chassis you're going to find are not new cars.
Right, like a mid-'80s.
Like an old car.
Or even early 90s.
Right, but most of those cars came with like anemic little naturally aspirated 4-cylinders.
150 horsepower.
But not all of them.
KAs.
Not all of them.
Man, we can talk off here.
So...
I like it. I like it a lot. I hope somebody follows through on some of your ideas and prove that you were right.
Like I said, I'm just a lottery win away from ruining Adam Jabay's life even further.
That's fair because he's ruined ours. So
yeah, so fuck that guy
exponentially.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do with our free time? We talk about Gridlife, and then we
I'm sitting here talking about.
And then we go to Gridlife, and then we spend all our money on Gridlife.
I don't even want to talk about how broke I am right now. And I'm not even racing.
I got good news today. It was that my insurance agent says, hey, we're going to get you this other plan with this other company. We're going to save you about $500. It also means you don't have to pay this week. Yes! Oh, thank you, Renee.
We should talk off air about that too.
It's just because
I'm not convinced I'm not getting screwed with my insurance.
It was just funny. It was just like, I was gonna pay it this weekend anyways, but it was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, I get to push that off for another few weeks.
Good, excellent.
Before we jump into the topic, we'll remind you that our topic is presented by Petrobox, because I forgot to do this last time. MyPetrobox.com. If you want to get a monthly subscription box that has cool automotive products, whether it's shirts, car care products, tools, cleaning products, hand cleaning products, perhaps,
mayhaps.
Dog collars, leashes.
Yep, Petrol Pup. I saw a few of them running around Gridlife.
That's so cool. And then also, if you sign up for the monthly box, you are automatically entered into the monthly drawing for a free set of Rotiform wheels. So your odds are about as good as it gets when it comes to a free set of wheels. Really.
Word.
But yeah, we're back to wearing masks at work today, or the last couple weeks. So I've been wearing my Petrobox masks every day. So I really like their masks, and for $7.95, it's about as good of a price as you're going to get. And then also, if you use the code TTP15, that's 15% off because it's in the store, or 15% off your first box. Or if you need mechanics gloves, which are already the cheapest gloves you can get anywhere. They're only $15. Scroll all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. There they are.
Yay.
Mechanics gloves, $15.
My favorite coasters of all time.
Yep, I got a couple of those as well. Those
Yeah.
were... Did you get all of them for $5?
I don't know. My dog broke the one that I had a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. I have one of those 3-spoke ones. It's not a big loss because 3-spokes suck.
Yeah, 3-spokes are lame. But I think I got one of them that I kept putting like ice water on, and it would condensate.
Leach?
So it's kind of warped.
Damn it.
So I guess I need some more. I guess I better use the code TTP15 and get 50% off my coasters.
Boom.
Or my gloves. I do need new gloves.
That grip mat thing looks cool.
I used that last week. A lot. 50% off. Use the code TTP15.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're kind of neat because that rubber's kind of sticky. Mm-hmm. But not like a residue sticky, but like sticky enough that you can kind of set it on things that aren't perfectly level, and it just kind of stays there.
Or not metal, because I use for a long time I've always used the magnet bowls.
I've done that.
That won't work so well if you have a carbon fiber or fiberglass car.
Yep. Then I also, in college, I made this, it's a piece of wood, and then it's got like tin cans screwed to it. Mm-hmm. I've used that ever since college. I still got it.
Those work well.
So yeah, I used, when I redid the head gaskets, I used my grip mat, and then I also used my tin cans. You fill them both.
Nice.
Because the VQ has a timing cover and then a timing cover. And they both have like 36 bolts in them.
So
plus they're RTV the whole way around.
So annoying.
What a pain in the dick. But anyways, if you want to have this show up at your door every month, it's like a present to yourself every month. And it's great. And I know August is going to be great because I know things.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, shit.
But if you're listening to this now, you're probably too late because your last day to sign up is 3 days and 23 hours from now, which is today's Wednesday.
So, yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, you're late.
Jimmy
you can,
was yesterday.
Yeah, it was off the hook yesterday. But if you want to... The best part is no one's going to get that movie reference.
I love that movie so much.
It's the best movie. I made Jess watch it like a month ago.
Katie hates it.
Jess can put up with that one. Jess doesn't like Brink as much. Because
Katie says that she just doesn't like Brink because I've watched it 10 million times.
I kind of ruined it for her too because
I get it.
I would say every line the whole way through.
Absolutely.
I could do it.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah,
but she put up with grind, so that was good. But yeah, otherwise, if you can't get signed up for the August box, sign up for the September box. Use a code TTP15, and then maybe you'll get cool stuff in your box as well, like this Nesquik because John's super cool.
I mean, I wouldn't count on. I wouldn't
count on Nesquik,
no, but yeah,
it's great. It's probably poisoned.
They have banana almond milk, and I kind of want to try it, but at the same time, I don't want to try it. But like, what if it is, Robbie?
I can promise you, it won't. Anything.
But what if it does?
Nesquik is the only one that has made one that tastes like artificial banana flavor, like candy.
But like, what if this is artificial banana flavor?
No, because every time there's a protein drink or like a milk that isn't Nesquik, it's like tried to make just taste like real bananas, and it tastes like hot garbage.
You're not wrong.
Because there was a protein shake that Muscle Milk. No,
Muscle Milk made one.
Was it Muscle Milk?
It was garbage.
It was terrible.
You could just buy it like at a gas station.
Yep.
It was those terrible Muscle Milk.
I tried that one.
That was garbage.
And then I think the almond milk's gonna be even worse.
Yeah, probably because it's supposed to be healthy and whatnot.
Exactly. They're like, it's gonna taste like real. It's gonna taste like a smoothie. And then,
I've never seen it other on an almond. I'm just saying.
No.
So
if anything, it's almond juice.
Sus to begin with.
Yeah.
So
it's okay with your cereal, but man,
I've never had it.
It's a last resort.
I've never had it.
X used to drink it only because
because
you can't drink milk.
Weird. She was no fun, Robbie.
She was fun at times.
Well, she was no fun for me then.
Yeah, you guys didn't get off on a good foot to start.
No.
At all.
No. And I don't think the funnest times for you were anything I got to be a part of, so.
No.
Moving on.
Yeah. What have you been up to stuff?
I did things with people at places.
Ugh, people?
Yeah, gross, right?
The worst.
So I was at Mid-Ohio this weekend. Let's talk about...
Did you get there safely?
Let's talk about the facilities first, because none of us have ever been to Mid-Ohio.
How much do I bet there's no picture of it?
Oh, I was going to give you a track map. I forgot about a track map.
I got to pull one up. It's cool.
But let's talk about that before we devolve into the weekend that was.
Yes.
Okay. So Mid-Ohio is probably one of the most historically famous racetracks in America.
Yes, absolutely.
It's really, really cool. One of the things that a lot of people were telling me the simulators do not do justice for,
I can believe that,
is the elevation changes. Ryan Seiler was telling me that basically every corner is a blind corner. You just huck the car over and hope there's an exit over there somewhere.
That part translates on a sim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything does feel super blind.
One of the things we've talked about a little bit this year is that, like, when I went to NCM, which I've never been to before, and I went to Audubon, which I have been to before, but we talked about it as well, the viewing options are terrible.
Yes.
To say the least. But Mid-Ohio, like, dude, there's not a bad view in the whole place.
I was curious about that because I mean, it has to be pretty good because they do all sorts of like higher level racing there.
Like, it was probably, I'll say it. This was the best track I've ever been to from a spectator's point of view.
Wow.
Because the track, even just spectating, is much more interesting than like Pikes Peak.
Okay.
International, obviously. Not the mountain, but the racetrack.
Yep.
Much more interesting even to spectate because the track is much, much more interesting. You know, Pikes Peak is a really good place to spectate because it's an oval.
Yes.
It's not that interesting of a track. And so that kind of, you know, isn't all that exciting. Because of the massive amount of elevation changes and stuff like that, cars are always fighting. They're always counter-steering. They're always, in some case, crashing into walls or ending up in sand traps.
Yes.
And so it's really exciting from that point of view. But also, like, there's almost no place you can't go.
Really? Like, it's just all the way around the track.
So not only that, but so just before turn 1, there's a bridge over into the infield, and there's tons of areas to view the infield as well.
Huh.
And that's actually the place to go.
I believe that.
So like most of the time that I was able to spectate, which unfortunately was not during the competition portions of it because I was otherwise preoccupied.
Live streaming.
I spent most of my time overlooking like 5, 6, 7, 8 complex.
Is that where the timing tower and stuff is?
No, the timing tower and stuff is right on the front straight between 13 and 1.
Okay.
But like, so there are areas that are like concession stands or bars, like up on it. So the track, they built like berms up from the track.
Yep.
So the viewing areas are higher than the track surface.
Oh, perfect.
And you're looking down on the track or down a hill, right? And so you can be on these hills, and so you can see them like come down from 2 through 3. If you're standing at like 7, you can watch them on the straightaway between 3 and 4. You can watch them go around China Beach through 4 and 5, over Madness into the S's, and then disappear towards Thunder Valley. So you can watch that whole area without moving.
Oh, nice.
Which was awesome. And then I really enjoyed watching them. So the exit of Turn 9 down into Thunder Valley is what they call the jump.
Yep.
And it's not named that for no reason.
Nope.
And it's a ton of fun to watch.
I believe
so that was really cool. And Thunder Valley is named that for a reason too. And so it's a really cool place to watch, especially when there is a 4-rotor Mazda RX-8 flying by, or Mazda RX-7 flying by.
Yep.
Full uncorked glory.
God, it sounds so good.
It's the best, Ravi. We've talked about Logan and his insane car before. It's the best.
Yep. So yeah, you sent me that one clip, and I couldn't believe how good it sounded.
Oh, it's so good. So, but yeah, it was a really cool facility. They like the showering setup and stuff like that is really great.
That is key.
Yeah. So like not only from a spectator, but from like I'm going here for a track day weekend.
Yep.
They had a shower. That like they were relatively decent sized individual showers. You pulled a curtain shut, and there was a place like a dryish area where and a stool you could put your stuff on. The shower was hot, despite the fact that there were lots of other ones running. So that's key. That was great. Yeah, like that is clutch.
A nice shower facility is super underrated.
Yeah, yeah, I don't disagree with that. So, but that was great. Most of the facilities are I mean they're a little bit run down, but that kind of lends itself to like the Americana and the history of the track, and I don't hate it.
Yeah, and maybe rundown's probably not the right word.
No, it is the right word.
It is the right word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it's the right word. So some of the people that I talked to, so apparently, this is really cool, I thought, you can buy from Mid-Ohio, you can buy a $300 annual pass. And that will allow you just entry to any event that Mid-Ohio holds through the calendar year.
Oh.
Which they hold a NASCAR race there.
Indy.
They hold an IndyCar race there. They've run runoffs. They've run Super Trucks there, which was part of the NASCAR weekend.
Yep.
But they've run runoffs there.
Yep.
There's lots of Porsche Club events, lots of SCCA regional events and majors events. There's a Gridlife event.
I mean, there's something every weekend.
Yeah. I mean, some weekends it might just be HPDE, but some weekends it might be IndyCar, WRL,
yep.
Champ Car,
yep.
Lemons, like literally anybody. That's Mid-Ohio is a destination track for literally any sanctioning body.
Absolutely.
So I feel like $300 is a steal of a deal.
Yeah, for sure.
But I talked to a few people who held that pass. And they're like, oh, yeah, this place is just not the same as it used to be. It's pretty run down and shitty these days. And I was like, you should go to RPM once. Like, this place is fucking amazing.
This place has facilities.
Yeah, like, I mean, Gingerman's really stepped it up in the last few years, but it's no Mid-Ohio in my opinion.
Yeah, you've showered at Gingerman.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's terrible. I got ringworm on my foot.
There's like two showers.
Yeah, they're gross.
There's like 30 showers at Mid-O.
Like Heartland Park.
Yeah.
Heartland Park's got pretty good showers.
Which someone asked me about, so I'm glad you mentioned.
The worst part about Heartland Park showers are the push buttons.
Oh, so you got to hold it?
So you can push it. It doesn't really, like, I'm sure every single one's different, but it doesn't really stay on very long. Okay. So you end up finding yourself like leaning up against it.
It is what it is.
Which is, it's a pretty decent shower, all things considered.
I could stand in a shower for like 6 hours, and that would be perfectly okay with me. I found myself in the shower at Mid-Ohio for longer than it needed to be.
Just
because it was hot.
You don't have hot showers at home?
Well, yeah, I do, but like, I mean, it felt really good, dude. Like, because, you know,
even after a long weekend when it's been 1,000 degrees outside?
I didn't get like as much sleep as I want, maybe.
You don't say.
Like, there may have been some shenanigans.
We'll get there.
And so, like, a hot shower was clutch.
Yeah.
To get me moving in the morning.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it was great. So, yeah, really cool track. Absolutely deserves to be on everybody's racetrack bucket list.
It's on mine, and I, assuming everything goes well, I chose to prioritize Road America over Mid-O this year because I would like to do that trip.
But I think, like, you know, if you have a big event there and you're trying to decide, like, oh, will my family care at all? I think this is a really good place for them to come and hang out.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun.
It's a really cool place.
So it's on my short list of places I want to be.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Facilities
are good.
Weekend.
Oh, boy.
So, of course, we have the most insane stacker in the world. It is a 48-foot monstrosity.
You got you there safely?
That cannot pass through Chicago without being posted on Track Midwest. But no, we blew a tire on the way there. Because, I don't know.
Is it what this is a different side than what you've been fighting the last few times?
Yes, this is the driver's side. We have had problems with the passenger side. It's always the front.
Oh, yeah, the front too.
Which we've decided maybe that we need to try and rear weight it a little more. Maybe we're putting a little too much weight on the nose, and that's wearing that front axle hard.
Maybe.
So we tried loading cars backwards this time.
And you had a safe drive home?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a triple axle thing, right?
Yeah, so like it should be fine.
So it's like I understand you shouldn't necessarily load cars backwards on single car trailers, and I totally 100% agree with that.
Completely agree.
And I totally understand weight distribution and how that thing works, but this is in a different league of its own because it's a monster.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so even though we went with 2 cars, we came home with 3.
We'll get there.
But yeah, we blew out a tire. It tore off the fender. Thankfully, Dalton had a brand new spare. Really, really easy to swap.
That's good.
I mean, we were in and out in 15 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, that's real good.
Yeah. So, I don't know what caused it or why it let go, but it went boom, scared the crap out of us.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like it kind of went pop and took the fender liner and stuff all with it.
Yeah. Well, that's what those fenders are for.
They're just to explode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find another one because we don't want to rip up the side of the trailer.
No.
It's pretty rusty in there though.
Great.
Which I guess shouldn't be a surprise. There, yeah, in that picture you can see that tire is destroyed.
Completely
so it looks like it just delaminated, yeah. And then we noticed when we were looking at it, the tire in the middle on the driver's side, you can feel like a ridge that goes all the way around the outside of it on both sides. So like there's the tread,
yes,
right? And then there's a ridge right where the tread ends and it kind of meets the sidewall, if you will.
Okay.
And then the back tire doesn't have that.
Oh.
And so these are retreadable.
Oh.
And so I don't know if it's been retreaded. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, it'd be hard.
And I also don't know if that means that other tire, maybe that other tire is delaminating too.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
What year are those tires?
Yes.
Okay.
13.
That's, it's funny because I'll just take whatever to a track and race on them or time attack with them.
Yeah.
I will not even chance it on a trailer. I replaced the ones on the one that I sold right before I sold it.
Well, we've talked about this in a past episode when we did a Would You Rather.
Yep.
And one of the things that I think we did it like it was crowdfunded, if I remember right. And one of them was reliable track car, reliable tow rig. Which would you rather? And I would absolutely take the reliable tow rig. There's nothing worse than being halfway home and having trouble.
Yep.
It's not so bad on the way there because we were in relatively good spirits, but we'd have been real upset about it on the way home.
Yep. You're ready to be home. It's already later than you want it to be.
Totally.
Every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that drive home with the Avalanche when I was basically just topping it off with a stabilizer to keep pressure in it.
Yeah.
That was stressful. That was a stressful drive.
Yeah, it's no fun.
And luckily, nothing gave out. I was just like, we're just going to see how close to home I can get.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out tomorrow. And luckily, I made it home. Then I got rid of the truck.
Yeah, other than that, it was pretty uneventful, pretty easy trip. We get there. We got there later than we wanted to.
You were there on Thursday.
We got there Thursday night. Yeah, I had to take multiple days off work, which was really annoying. Hey, Adam Jabay, do more 2-day events, please.
I'm pretty sure they're going the other direction.
Yeah, I fucking know.
Everything's a 3-day, and all the festivals are 4 days.
Yeah, I fucking know. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, that's a lot of days. So, and how do you fix that? You can't do more events because then you just got more events, more weekends.
I don't know, man. These aren't my problems. My problems are that I'm out of PTO and my boss is getting real annoyed by me not working full weeks months in a row.
Did work a full week this week?
No, I didn't. I didn't work Monday.
Oh yeah.
So I work Tuesday through Friday this week.
Yep.
And then next week I'm gonna work Monday through Thursday because I gotta be at fucking Heartland Park on Friday.
Who are you riding down with?
I'm driving myself, probably.
Are you?
Well, it depends on what time everybody else leaves and whether or not I'm hauling a family with me or not.
Oh, fair enough. I was going to say, because Trevor was asking me about it, and I was like, I don't know what Adam's doing. So
yeah,
he was plenty of room in my car.
He was looking for a ride for his tires.
I offered
potentially,
but he's got to get them here.
Yeah,
first.
I said maybe ask Robbie.
I said it was cool.
So, but yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet. Okay. Depends on if Katie ends up coming with me or not.
Gotcha.
It's still up in the air, which is really frustrating me. But that's a different story.
So you made it to Mid-O, though.
Yeah. Thursday night was pretty uneventful. We unloaded the cars. We went to bed. That was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
By the time we got there, it was kind of late, so we didn't really do a whole lot. I don't even remember. It doesn't matter.
It's all just a blur at this point.
Yeah, it really, truly is. So Friday morning. Yes, Friday morning. Let's see. Friday was a day.
So you were live streaming Friday.
So I live streamed Friday and Saturday, but not Sunday. So this weekend was especially anxiety-inducing, imposter syndrome-inducing, insane.
Yeah.
If you will. This weekend, Kyle, who anybody who's watched the Gridlife live stream knows, Kyle Heyer, SimTV, he was not able to be there because he's a real broadcasting professional.
He's a professional now.
Yeah. He's not just a schmo who goes to Gridlives because it seems like a cool thing to do, like me. So he was actually in Nashville announcing for SRO, which is what World Challenge has become apparently. So that was pretty crazy.
Awesome. That is awesome.
And so I guess he must know some people within the broadcasting world at some level, and he was able to pull some strings and talk to some people and got Greg Kramer. I think he pronounces his last name Kramer.
Yep.
And at first I was like, I don't know who that is. Like, it's not Bob Varsha. That's all I know. Right? Like that. Everybody knows who Bob Varsha is.
Yep.
Bob Varsha would be great. Note, everybody. Anybody of power who's listening, Bob Varsha would be great.
That'd be incredible.
No, I probably wouldn't even participate, to be completely honest with you.
You'd just freeze up.
It'd be too much. But when he got there and I heard his voice, I was like, oh, that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
So if you don't know that guy.
He's done some things.
If you've listened to any level of road racing in the last 20 years, you've probably listened to Greg.
Yep.
He's announced for Formula One. He's announced for NASCAR. He's announced for IndyCar. He's done a bunch of vintage racing. IMSA. Yeah, he's been around.
Yeah,
he's the real deal, Robbie.
He is a professional.
I am a schmo.
That is not how it came across on the live stream whatsoever.
I appreciate that.
Because on Friday,
but I am a schmo.
At Friday at work, because we have so many security things at work, I have my phone.
Oh yeah, right.
So I'm listening to the live stream, not so much watching it, just basically just listening, treating it like a podcast.
Yep.
Because it's Friday and
fuck Friday.
Yeah, I'm focusing on weekend at that point.
Yep.
And so I'm listening to you guys, and I would say at that point it was you and
Abe
to start.
Yep.
And I don't think did you do any with Greg on?
I can't even
Friday.
Remember. I think I just did it on Saturday. I think I just did it with Greg on Saturday. Greg was there. He did all of the GLTC races.
Yep.
With Alex Moss, who is normally a time attack driver, drives Super K, the neon green S2000 in street mod class.
Yep. I thought they did really well together too.
Lightning fast car. Alex has never done any announcing that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Apparently, because you have a strong British accent, that automatically makes you ready to go.
Yeah, it worked out really well. He sounded distinguished.
Exactly. So I was kind of joking with him. I was like, "How did you get roped into this?" He's like, "Oh, Tom talked me into this," and I was like, "What did you do to Tom? Why does he hate you so badly?" And he's like, "I don't really know, to be completely honest with you." So yeah, it was kind of funny, but. For the most part on Friday, I think it was just me and Abe on Time Attack and Greg and Alex on GLTC. But on Saturday, we kind of mixed that up a little bit. Abe did a few with Greg. I did a few with Greg, and that was pretty crazy. Greg's really, really good.
Yeah, he's a true professional, and it came across that way. And he clearly knew the racing and the history, and you could tell he was genuinely interested in what was happening on screen.
Yeah, it was.
And then your total understanding of grid life, the rules, and the drivers.
Yeah,
total package. It truly worked.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed this one, more so than I have in the past. But it still feels really weird to me. Like we talked about last show, live stream is just a whole different animal than this silly, stupid little podcast. Yeah. And I think it's just because we've been doing this for a long time.
Yes,
and I'm super comfortable with it. And also, this isn't live,
right? So. Things go totally wrong, and we're just like, you know what? We're done this week.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So, but yeah, then doing it with someone who I know growing up and listened to announcing races while I was watching them on TV, that was crazy.
You held it together though. There's chemistry there. I think the chemistry between you and Abe is obviously better just because of the friendship.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like there was any really weird lulls or you didn't understand each other's jokes or directions where you were going.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really good.
He did a really good job of so it even so there's actually a schedule that has lists out main presenter and color. I'm literally listed as color commentary, which is fine.
That's cool.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But he did a good job of leading the whole thing, but also pitching things to me so I had something to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's very, very good at that.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was fun.
No, he would softball him in isn't the right word, but he would basically take a topic or a direction of it and was just kind of here and let you run with it.
Yeah.
And then you toss it back to him. And there was a really good back and forth. Kept it interesting the whole way through.
Well, I appreciate that because it was.
And I will admit, I didn't watch all Time Attack, but I definitely watched. I definitely watched.
No
you two
one cares
together.
about the slow guys. I get it, Robin. I get it. Trust me.
Plus, I was in the shop the whole day, so I would take breaks. And
we started out with five run groups of Time Attack, A through E, and then as the weekend dwindled down and people broke Dalton, we ended up with just 4. That's so many.
5 is a lot.
It's so many.
I mean, because we'll sit here and do an hour and a half, 2 hour podcast. That's no big deal. But when you're sitting there commentating on what's happening in front of you. Like it. Plus, you got the dead time in between. You know, it takes...
One of the things that I personally think I struggle with a little bit in live stream because of the podcast is that a lot of times we don't like, or we try not to like make this repetitive and talk about the same things.
And the live stream is the opposite.
But you kind of need to do that in the live stream. You kind of need to talk about, like, go back over the rules every once in a while. Go back over the different things every once in a while. You know, like, obviously you don't want every broadcast to be word for word the same, but you do want to talk about some of those things, again, in case new people have found it.
Right. Yeah. That is something that I noticed. Like, even when we were doing it with, when we announced at festival that one time.
Yeah.
That was one thing they kept saying, talk about this again. Talk about this again.
Right.
And it was, you know, yeah, we would never do that on the podcast, but it makes perfect sense to do it on a live stream.
Yeah. So, anyway, Friday, we did a lot of wrenching.
More than I expected, because, like, Dalton...
Shit got real.
Yeah, Dalton posted a picture. I don't know if he posted it publicly or sent it to us, but that car was, like, torn apart.
So we had the front end of that car off.
Yep.
Friday during the day.
Yep.
Because so first of all, we had some trouble with the car because the flex fuel sensor was not reading.
Like at all.
Like at all. Which is super important because it's
critical.
an E85 car.
Yeah, it's kind of critical.
And because Dalton, and I agree with him on this, does not want to deal with like testing and mixing his own to make sure that it's consistent. Right. He's got to have the flex fuel sensor.
I would do the same.
And so the car has to have that because the ECU is not looking for, or is not assuming a specific thing. It's looking for input from the flex fuel.
Right.
It was not working.
Ugh.
Turned out to be a wiring issue with the harness yet again.
Great.
Yeah, which we were able to fix. We borrowed a flex fuel sensor from Dewey, from Eric DeWitt.
Nice.
Through Graham Gaylord. Borrowed one of those, put it on the car, didn't make any issue, or didn't make any change, checked a few things, found I don't know what issue because I had to go do live stream things.
Yep.
Got that fixed. Turns out that wasn't the only problem with the car.
Great.
I don't remember how they diagnosed this because, again, I wasn't there. But eventually they diagnosed it to the point where they realized the cam sensor had also died at some point. The cam positioning sensor. Yeah. And the cam positioning sensor is in the water... it's in the timing. It's in the timing cover, or it's in the timing cover.
Yeah,
right?
basically,
it's right behind right above the water pump.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm trying to think where it was on the.
I don't think they're always in the same spot.
No, not necessarily.
So his is kind of a weird engine. That LS7 is kind of a special motor among LSs, but that one it's on the timing cover above the water pump.
Okay. Yep.
We were able to get to it pretty easily, but there was, like Josh thinks that maybe because it's never been replaced.
Yep.
To Dalton's knowledge, despite the fact that the engine's been rebuilt, it just stayed in the timing cover. It's never been removed.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And somehow it must have mushroomed out behind the front of the cover and wouldn't come out through its hole. We think that it maybe soaked up some oil and kind of expanded that plastic, which may have been the reason it failed.
Yeah, the fact that you couldn't get it out is no surprise.
So we weren't able to get it out, so they were trying to whittle it down and pull it out, and eventually it got to the point where they had broken so much of it off that it fell down inside the timing cover. And so at that point, Adam Jabay saved the day. We were able to find ourselves a crank pulley puller, which is a really hard thing to say, from a Tesla Model 3 driver of all things. He came with this giant snap-on toolbox.
Good for him.
I don't know why, but
probably
shout out to Tony Barber and his Tesla Model 3 for coming through with a pulley puller.
Nice.
We're able to pull the timing cover off and put a new cam sensor in there, put the car back together. But at that point, I think we had missed...
He's at least 2 sessions.
I think we missed the day.
I can't remember if I can't remember if he made it on track on Friday or not. I don't think he did.
He did not finish any timed laps this weekend.
No.
I think he made an out lap and came back in on Friday.
Okay.
And then, so then Friday night, some shenanigans started.
Because at this point he was still planning on getting up in the morning and
racing the car.
Yeah, time attacking. He was expecting to be on track.
So I don't know if this is cause or just coincidence.
Okay.
But it seems like when Matt Williams is at Gridlife, we have more fun.
More shenanigans.
Because like when we were at Alpine Festival,
yep.
Like we were in bed by like 11:30 every night.
Let's say even at Midwest or
and
spring
like
kickoff,
at spring kickoff,
like
we were up till like 12:30 or 1.
And even then, he comes over and starts like, "Hey, you in your tent? Yeah, it's 12:30. Go away."
So, but like Friday night, we weren't even hanging out with him.
Yep.
But we were up till almost 1. Well, some of us were up till almost 1. E-Man was in bed by 11 because he's a square.
Why did he go to bed so early?
Because he's lame.
He didn't want to hang out with his friends?
Apparently, when you only get to hang out with me 2 weekends a year, that's not a good enough reason to stay up late.
Wow.
I know, right?
I was
Knife to the heart.
Yeah, I stay up as late as everybody else.
Yeah.
Actually,
whether you want to or not.
Yeah, when I was at Hallett, I expected to stay up late, but then I was like, guys, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go shower. I go and shower under the stars, and I come back, and everyone's just gone. Like everyone's already in bed.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to bed."
I go to bed early then.
Yeah. So Dalton and I were hanging out with a bunch of the other Gridlife buddies. Saturday is Dalton's birthday.
Yes, because he's 29.
Yeah, he's 29 years old. Sam's mom brought him a Dairy Queen ice cream cake.
That's nice.
Yeah. She was there Saturday.
That's thoughtful.
She was a very thoughtful lady. She's a very nice lady. You should meet her sometime, Robbie.
She can come to Topeka.
But so we were all kind of hanging out. Sam was doing her thing, as she often does. That's not always involving.
No, she just kind of just takes off
or us because she was a Gridlife regular before she adopted Dalton.
Yep.
We've decided that he's a lost puppy.
Oh yeah,
and she's adopted him. They're not actually dating.
No, she rescued him.
Yeah. We were joking about on the way home about getting a rescue mom sticker, but you know how it always has the paw. We were going to get a handprint. Dalton didn't think it was as funny as we did.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty funny. Sam was not like was not like stopping us.
Yeah, I think if you slap it on the car, she won't take it off.
Yeah, it was going on the fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For sure. So anyway, she unbeknownst to us, she had snuck away and gone back to the trailer where she had smuggled some contraband onto the trailer. Dalton, much like I, hates his birthday.
Why do you guys hate your birthday so
Because
much?
birthdays are lame.
I just use it as an excuse to like do one thing I want that like
So
I get to choose the restaurant or whatever. Yeah.
So like this is weird for me to say because I'm on a podcast and I do a bunch of live stream stuff and like I'm not the most outgoing person in the world, but I'm friendly at the paddock and stuff like that. I don't really like being the center of attention.
Not even a little bit.
Which sounds weird because I do a podcast.
Well, I've had
which
that
is kind of like a narcissistic thing to do.
It is the most narcissistic thing you could do.
Yeah, but that's not what I am. I don't like being the center of attention.
No, we've had that conversation multiple times. Like, I am anything but outspoken.
Right.
I'm not confrontational.
No.
I don't post on the internet just to get dislikes. I
don't post on the internet at all anymore.
Not really. I just post things I'm up to, and I don't like to argue.
I barely even do that.
And like if people are like want to get into like an argument and it's not going to lead to a fist fight, I'm like, this I'm done here. I'm
done. Whether it's a fist fight.
I would rather have a fist fight than an argument.
Bro, I've never been in a fist fight.
Fist fights
Don's the only person I've ever hit in anger.
I know.
He's proud of that.
But
anyway, that's why I don't like birthdays.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that a lot.
And I think Dalton is kind of that way.
No,
about his birthday.
Okay, I was going to say he's fine being the center.
I don't
of attention.
think he has any problem being the. He's much more the social butterfly.
Way more than both.
But
of
I
us.
think that he also doesn't like having attention put on him because of his birthday specifically.
I can see that.
If he's up to shenanigans, if he's up to no good, that's perfectly fine.
If he's had a couple beers,
if he's beating
totally
somebody
fine.
up wearing a fake mullet in the middle of Deadwood, South Dakota with his shoe, that's perfectly reasonable to be the center of attention at that moment. But his birthday is just not where he's at.
That's fair.
I get it. So anyway, Sam snuck some of those confetti poppers.
Oh, jeez.
Which there is a picture in here with Dalton with his head in his hands because he's very upset about it, and confetti on his shoulder. But she snuck away and grabbed those, and then we were distracted by other people who were also involved in such tomfoolery. There you go.
Yep.
And so she snuck away, grabbed those things, and then snuck up behind Dalton and I, who were sitting on a golf cart talking to, I can't even remember who now at this point. And then she shot those things off over our shoulder, and I just about pissed myself because they were way louder than you think they would be.
And then I assume she screamed, "Happy birthday!"
Yeah, and so there was confetti everywhere, and Dalton was supremely annoyed by it, which makes me happy.
Yeah, of course,
because it's also not my birthday, so that's good.
Yeah, that's the best part.
We were at a Gridlife at my birthday, and nobody acknowledged it, and I really appreciate that.
We're here for you.
So, but when we can make Dalton mad enough that he hangs his head in his hands, that's a win for everybody.
That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, she did that to us. One other thing I forgot to mention that it happened on Friday that I find supremely hilarious. E-Man and I went on a Walmart trip because somewhere along the lines my pillow that I left in the trailer has disappeared.
Oh, rude. It's not your fault.
I think it might actually be, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll blame someone
else. I think Katie put it in our van after Alpine instead of putting it back in the trailer where it came from.
Yeah, I can see why that would happen.
Yeah. But we have so many pillows in our house, I don't even fucking know. But I didn't bring a pillow, so I had to go So Thursday night, I just didn't sleep with a pillow, and it was god-awful.
Would you like a sweatshirt or something?
No. I just went to bed.
Ugh.
I was so tired.
That would be awful.
I was so tired, Robbie.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, E-Man and I, he had to run in and get a few things. I had to run in and get a few things. So we ran to town. We got that. And the Walmart's like 30 minutes away, probably.
Okay.
So we're in the Z, ripping down some random back roads that Google took us on.
Okay.
When all of a sudden we get passed in the opposite direction by none other than the Slumdog Millionaire Unlimited Class Subaru.
Okay.
Who apparently had also just made a Walmart run.
Huh.
So, street mod cars be damned, unlimited cars can also do streetcar things. I'm just saying.
That's awesome.
So,
I mean, it's got a license plate on it. It's
yeah, he
legal.
did. He had a license plate on it.
Good enough.
Colorado. I think he lives in like North Carolina or something like that. But hey. There's a license plate.
That's all that matters.
So, yeah, that was really funny. That's like a sequentially, or like it has like air paddle shifts.
Oh, jeez.
On it. And like full aero, like huge aero, big slicks. Like it's a full, like it has a twin turbo EJ 4-cylinder Subaru motor in it, a boxer motor, but he has a pair of turbos, and there's bullhorns sticking up out of the front corners of both sides of the hood, wastegate and exhaust dumps just right out the top of the hood.
Perfect.
When you pop the hood, the turbos are like right there, front and center.
That's where they're supposed to be.
Up high. I love it. But yeah, he's just whipping down the back road, just. So that was hilarious.
Yeah, that would have been good times.
So, but yeah, that was Friday. Saturday
was a day.
It was a bad day.
No,
for some people,
not good.
A good day for other people. Saturday, Dalton went out on track. Oh, Friday, Ryan didn't have any trouble because Ryan is Ryan and his car's stone dead reliable for the most part. And he, I think, Days End Friday was running second or third in class.
Yep,
which is kind of where he was always at because he's Ryan. Apparently, he's a freak of nature because in what is arguably a better prepped Club TR class S2000 that Tomo drove that weekend, he was a second faster than Tom.
Jeez.
So he's now officially in the alien category as well.
That's fair. Yep, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because that car has full sphericals and a very expensive ATS carbon diff.
Oh, wow.
And similar power because it's K-swapped as well.
Jeez.
So basically the same car except for that stuff and Tomo in it, and he was a second slower.
Wow.
So,
I'll be damned.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of little things that could have been different.
I'm sure.
But as far as I'm concerned, that makes Ryan a freak of nature.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Because Tom is faster than everybody in anything.
Yes.
It's just unfair. And
it's unreal.
Mid-Ohio is his home track.
Yep.
That he's had probably the most laps. We talked to him. I was like, we asked him, like, how many laps do you have here? And like, I don't know, I was like, is it like 10,000? He's like, I don't know if it's 10,000, but he's like, I mean, I suppose it's probably quite a few thousand. Like,
yeah.
Fuck.
Well, like you could tell, like as soon as it started raining, he jumped immediately to this other line and was dramatically faster.
Yeah.
Like he knew where to go.
And then like Honda has a bunch of money there because Honda has a manufacturing facility not that far away.
Yep.
And so there's like all of the safety cars are Honda cars, and they have a big skid pad area where you can go out. They have skid cars, which are they're Honda Civics that have that crazy thing on the back.
Oh, yeah.
That lifts up the back tires and then just throws them into a skid. You got to try and catch it. And they have like a whole fleet of like Acuras and Hondas there. And so Tom used to be an HPD driver, a Honda Performance Development driver.
Yep.
And so he was there a lot.
Constantly.
Yeah. I mean, he spent a lot of time racing a lot of cars there.
Yep.
So, but anyway, Ryan was Ryan. Saturday morning, we think the Corvette's ready to go.
Yep.
It runs, it starts, it drives. It moves under its own power.
It's a good start.
Let's fucking go, right? It's time to win the track day.
Okay.
All right? So he goes out there, passes, or gets on the track.
Okay.
Makes his outlap. We're in the announcing booth. I'm talking about things.
Yep.
Doing stuff. I think I was with... No.
Did you start with Abe in the morning? I don't think you did.
He went out in the front of Group C because we knew that he didn't belong in the back of Group D.
Yep.
And we didn't want him chasing Sunday Cups.
Nope.
And so Adam put him in the front of C because that seemed like a reasonable place for him to be.
Yeah. Hasn't been on track.
And so I think Saturday morning it was Abe and Greg did A and B, and then I jumped in with Greg and did C and D.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
I think is what we did on Saturday morning. So Dalton was out there, made his full outlap, crossed the start finish, headed towards turn run, catastrophe.
Yeah, he went straight to the grass.
Yep. So didn't quite make it all the way out of turn one, and then he tried aiming for. There's a bunch of places that are pull-offs.
Yes.
Because this track is a pro track. So there's a bunch of places where trucks can dive in or you can dive out, one of the two. So they can do like hot pulls and get you off the track.
Keep the races going.
Right. Oh, excuse me. So we just thought, oh, great. A thing happened again, right? What he said was when he went out at first, the car was kind of really stumbling on itself, falling on its face, not revving like it should, but he thought maybe that there is some sort of fail-safe in that ECU that won't let him rev that car out until it's warmed up.
Yeah.
Potentially. So he kind of attributed it to that and just kind of kept going. As the outlap continued, the car came up to temp. It started to rev out like it should. And then as he was coming down the front straight, he said, oh, I know. He said, I already know that there's something wrong with the car. He was going to let off and
basically coast through it.
Come back in. Again, not finishing a lap, but saving the car. Let's figure out what's wrong with it so that we can maybe put in a session later.
Yes.
Right? There's 3 time attack sessions for the day. This is only day 2 of 3. Let's not fucking throw this car away yet. Fuck yourself, the Corvette said, and blew up.
Like properly.
Properly blew up.
Like worse than I realized because it's hole in the valve cover.
So the valve... Originally, we had a lot of argument over whether it was a dropped valve because that's a very common LS7 thing.
That happens.
But that motor, those heads have been rebuilt and are supposed to be safe.
Yes.
Or is it a bottom end that let loose? My original guess was that the bottom end had let loose because usually when an LS drops a valve, it will spit it back out without putting a hole in the block. That was not the case with this.
Nope. Hole in the block, hole in the valve cover.
So it launched.
I
assume it launched the valve stem out of the engine, pushed it through the valve cover, broke the coil pack that was mounted above it, and then slammed into the hood and left a big gouge in the fiberglass underneath the hood.
Wow.
And then we got it back off. Like, obviously, like after the live stream was done, I come running over there to see what's up, and they're like, "Yeah, it's fucking toast.
She's donezo, bro.
She's done." We pulled the spark plug out. The electrode's gone.
Yeah, like nothing.
The spark plug almost didn't want to come out. So then at that point we decided one of our Festiva friends, Tommy, who is going to be a very important part of the rest of this story. He had a bore scope that he went and got, and we stuck the bore scope down in there. But before you did that, you could just turn your flashlight on your phone and look down through where the valve is supposed to be.
Yep.
And you could see rings.
Oh.
Above the piston.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good and proper fucked.
That's extra broken.
It's supremely broken. And so he went and got his bore scope, and we tried to go through the spark plug hole, and we couldn't get through.
Okay.
So we went through where the valve spring should be.
Yep.
And, dude, it's chaos.
Yeah,
I tried to get pictures of the bore scope, but they didn't come out. So
that's a tough picture to take.
Yeah, because it was an LCD screen and a bunch of glare. But dude, like that piston is in a million pieces.
Right.
That motor's
junk
with a capital
J.
Yeah,
I think Dalton said today there's one head is good.
Yeah, the passenger side or the driver's side head ready to rock.
Everything else gone.
But it's safe to assume that the internals of that engine are supremely super messed up.
Yeah,
So we originally thought maybe it was a valve let go and a piston made contact with the valve. I kind of wondered because it broke the block if maybe something in the bottom end came loose and made contact with that valve and shot it into the sky.
Yeah.
But what we think was actually the deal is that Dalton, and frankly, I didn't really quite understand this fully either, but Dalton didn't understand AFRs you should be looking for E85 versus premium.
Yeah, I would have not known the difference.
Right, and so he was looking at his AFR gauge and going, good to go.
12.6.
But that's super lean for an E85 car. And apparently we're starting to wonder if that ethanol or if that flex fuel sensor ever worked at all.
Yeah.
But we think at this point that car ran really lean and he grenaded a piston.
Yikes.
Is where we're standing at right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what he was showing today.
That short block's got like 2 hours on it, and those heads are 2 years old.
Yeah.
So that's $10,000 worth of engine.
Yeah, I'll say that's a freshly rebuilt LS7.
Yeah. That's $10,000 worth of LS right there.
Oh, that's enough to make you sick.
It's
man.
toast.
Yeah.
Dalton, ever the champ, as much shit as I love to give him, was in like a surprisingly good mood about it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, 10:30 there were already silver bullets out
in the morning.
Yeah, 10:30 in the morning.
I figured
because it's his birthday
and
his car is fucking toast. So
I figured it was a repeat of NOLA at that.
There
point.
was not a Camaro in the trailer on the way there. On the way there. There was not a Camaro in the trailer.
Nope.
So he didn't have a backup car.
Nope.
Insert Tommy. Okay.
Okay.
So Tommy is one of Joe King's friends, who I will from now on refer to as Joe Johnson, because I accidentally called him Joe Johnson on the live stream, and he apparently went back and listened and called me out on it. So now his name is Joe Johnson.
It's Joe Johnson.
He just needs to deal with that. The sooner he accepts that.
This is Joe King, right?
Yes, Joe King.
No, it's Joe Johnson's.
He's not joking.
We're not joking.
He's
it's Joe
Joe
Johnson.
Johnson. Friend of his, Tommy, who was there. Apparently, he lives nearby. Actually, apparently, if E-Man's house were to start on fire right now, Tommy would come and put it out.
He's fireman?
He's E-Man's fireman.
That's nice.
He's in a fire station that's like 6 blocks away from E-Man's house.
That's nice. He's that close.
They live upsettingly close to each other. Frankly, that will come into play in the future. I'm quite certain of it, and it probably won't be good for anybody.
We'll figure it out.
Because Tommy's a character.
That's awesome.
Tommy had a permed mullet with shaved sides.
On purpose?
Yes.
Awesome.
And the most glorious mustache you've ever seen in your whole goddamn life.
I'm officially jealous already.
Dude.
I don't get a mustache.
It was quite the tickler.
A caterpillar, if you will.
A big fuzzy caterpillar. So, Tommy took it upon himself, and I think there were a few others involved, but Tommy really took it to heart to find Dalton a car that could finish a lap and get a time in.
I like this.
So at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, Tommy, who had already also started drinking, because he was just there to enjoy himself, not there to drive that weekend.
Oh, he's partying.
He's got, so this, apparently the Festiva, it's a Ford product. It was built in the era that Mazda and Ford were in bed together. So there is a Mazda version of that car.
Okay.
Like a 121 or something, 126. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Not a clue.
I'm going to get yelled at for that later. It's fine.
It doesn't matter.
But because it's also kind of a Mazda, a lot of the also kind of Mazda things bolt into it. So in that era, you could get an Escort GT, which had the 1.8 BP out of a Miata.
Oh.
And so there is I don't think that it's any radically different, but there is a front-wheel drive configuration for that motor. Mainly the transmission is obviously the big difference.
Right.
Apparently with some massaging, that will bolt into a Festiva.
Okay.
To which Tommy has done with a turbo.
Oh, boy.
And then he gutted the damn thing. And I didn't know that it was turboed until it was too late in the weekend to take it for a drive, but I'll bet it's rowdy.
That'd be a good time.
Apparently, he has a harness bar. Shame for shame.
Shame.
Harness bar with stock seats and belts, Robbie.
Shame.
No, obviously not belts. Stock seats. Harnesses. 4 points.
That is certain death waiting to happen.
So he was not allowed on track at a Gridlife weekend.
Well, no kidding.
So, and we scolded him profusely for it.
Good.
But apparently there was a track day there on Monday and Tuesday, and they were cool with that.
Sketchy.
That car did 127 miles an hour in the back on the straight from 2 to 4. There's a little kink there called turn 3, but it's flat. It's a straightaway, for lack of a better term.
Sketchy.
127 miles an hour.
That's pretty
really
quick.
fast. It's moving. It's really moving.
Yeah.
So that car I'm sure is a riot. But yeah, so Tommy took it upon himself to find Dalton a car. He messaged, I don't know, a half dozen different cars. There was everything from like a base model Mini Cooper, which is Sunday Cup legal.
Oh, that'd be fun.
There was a Cobalt SS for like $2,500 or something like that. This 1998 LS1 powered automatic Z28 Camaro.
Okay.
$1,200.
Okay.
He opened his negotiations, his opening statement to the owner of the Camaro. Thumbs up, send. ? Send.
What?
Yes. So that's what he didn't even send him a dollar amount or like a hey, is this still available? And like so you know like all of the tactics that you hate about Craigslist sellers?
Yeah, of course.
Like the people who just click the is this still available?
I don't mind.
Or like the people who like open like if you're asking $1,200 for a car and people open with I'll give you $300 cash tomorrow.
That offends me.
It's stuff like that. That
I don't care if they ask if it's available.
That is Tommy's strategy to a T.
Offend them first.
Everything that you hate about dealing with Craigslist people and Facebook people when you're selling stuff, Tommy used every one of their tactics on multiple people to find Dalton a car. And you know what? He's the only one that got Dalton a car. But he opened to this Camaro guy with thumbs up ? And then 2 hours later, Camaro guy, who I will not name, we're just going to leave it at Camaro guy, responded with, yes, it's still available. And so the negotiations began. he started out by offering him $300 cash today. To which the kid replied, I don't have the car with me, and I don't have enough money to put gas in my tank to go to it.
Okay.
To which Tommy responded, find $300 in a tank of gas. Because he didn't say no. He just said he didn't have gas.
Exactly. That's not a no.
So the kid then said that somebody was coming to get it tomorrow for $800, but he would sell it to him today for $700, and it went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for literally 10 hours.
All night or all day.
There's a full recap, including me pretending to be Camaro guy and Tommy reading his parts. And Tommy and I read the text messages back and forth that will be coming out as a Slipping Not Patreon episode.
Good.
So everybody can enjoy.
Everyone needs to hear
Everyone can enjoy the story from Tommy and Dalton's point of view. But so I don't remember all of the exact details, but if I remember correctly, initial contact, thumbs up question mark, initial contact, which is my new favorite thing now, by the way. Dalton and Josh and Ryan and I have all significantly abused it. So if you see that anywhere on a Facebook message or a Facebook post or anything like that, thumbs up question mark, that's where it came from. But I think the initial contact started at like 11 o'clock at night or in the morning.
Yeah.
And we hooked Slumlord, which is what we call Dalton's truck because the license plate says Slumlord on it.
Yep.
So we just refer to it as Slumlord.
That's fair.
Like, hey, can you go to Slumlord and grab my bag or whatever? Like, that's what we say. Also, the Wi-Fi is Drama Queen in case you need to log into his Wi-Fi. He's really proud of that, let me tell you. I don't know why he's friends with us.
No, it's terrible.
I really don't.
The poor guy.
I love the kid to death, though. But when we hooked up Slumlord to the trailer, to Joe Johnson's trailer, because we couldn't get the stacker out of the paddock at midnight.
Midnight on Saturday. You don't say.
Opening negotiation was at like, I think 11 o'clock in the morning, and we finally closed the agreement at midnight. That's how long and drawn out this was. They argued back and forth on whether there would be a title. Tommy eventually told him, look, man, and quote, word for word, look, man, I don't give a fuck if there's a title. He said, tell you what, because like the kid's like, oh, man, I can't go get it. It's like it's at my uncle's house. I can't be there. And Tommy's like, tell you what, I'll just leave $500 cash on the ground. We'll take the car. We'll leave. Just like the whole, like, oh, dude, it was such a shit show. It was so funny. We were dying.
That's some good entertainment.
But then he like kept saying, like, Camaro guy, call me. What's your phone number? What's your address? Just call me, man. You know, and finally the kid called him.
Yep.
And then he's like, yeah, I got to find out if, like, this is like 10:30 at night at this point, right? And he's like, yeah, I got to find out if my uncle's going to be around, if we can go pick up the car, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, well, let me know. Like, we're dead serious.
Like right now.
Like, let's do this, right? Like, he's like, got a truck hooked up to the trailer, ready to go. At some point in the negotiation, because the kid obviously wanted more money, Tommy told the kid, like, no, dude, we don't have any, like, we're broke, you know, we don't have any money.
This is all we got.
Yeah, but he's like, you've got a trailer ready to go? And he took a picture of the fucking stacker and goes, yep, trailer's ready. So we had to explain that away. And then we rolled up to this guy's house with an $80,000 2020 Silverado, high country.
Yep.
So that was kind of weird. But he finally, he's like, he calls the guy, or the Camaro kid calls Tommy and says, yeah, I'll call my uncle. Just give me a few minutes. So we gave him, like 15 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by. Oh. Guy's not calling us back. So finally Tommy decides to take matters into his own hands and calls him one after the other, call, hang up 7 times before the kid finally answered his phone.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine? Like, blocked. I wouldn't have sold this car to us.
No, I would have blocked you so fast.
For sure not have sold, especially for half my asking price.
No way. No way.
So eventually the kid agreed to meet us in very rural Ohio. we had to cash app him $300 ahead of time, and that we were going to have $300 cash when we arrived there.
Okay.
That $300 cash came because Dalton's dad is a collector of oil memorabilia, much like my own.
Yep.
And there was a sign that we transported in said stacker that somebody on Saturday came from like Virginia or some crazy shit. Came to Mid-Ohio, brought like his kid. They hung out for the day and watched the racing and bought this sign from Dalton's dad through Dalton for $400 cash.
Okay.
So that's where our $300 cash came from. And we didn't tell Dalton's dad. I don't even know right now if he knows that he's half owner of a Camaro or not, but he is. So, we went. So we finally get the kid's address. We go to visit. Like, it's midnight when we left. It was 1 a.m. when we arrived on site.
Yes.
We beat them there.
Okay.
So obviously, as soon as we get there, it's me and Josh in the front seat. Sober me and sober Josh.
Yes.
In the front seat. Josh, less than thrilled about the situation, if I was honest. I was thoroughly enjoying myself, giggling like a schoolgirl.
Yeah.
But Josh was less than thrilled about the situation, if I'm honest.
And rural Ohio, 1 a.m.
Yeah, Josh was tired.
Josh tired. It's kind of sketchy
tired.
situation.
I was pretty hyped up on caffeine.
You don't say.
I was ready to rock.
You had a rooster or two.
No, I had a NOS the night before, though, like an original NOS.
They're pretty good.
I can't.
It took me years to get that
I'm gonna
taste
feel
back.
like a real dick with saying this because I can't remember his name. But your GLTC Corvette buddy,
Clayton.
Clayton.
Yeah.
It was Clayton.
Clayton Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Clayton Fitzpatrick. No,
Yes,
Fitzpatrick.
I talked to him for quite a while drinking my NOS at like 12:30 in the morning, and he was just like, "Are you fucking really drinking that?" Like, yeah, man, I'm super pumped about it. And then I went to bed. It was no big deal.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, we get there. It's me and Josh, and then in the back seat is Dalton and Tommy and Tommy's friend Dan, who's a longtime listener as well.
Awesome.
One of Joe Johnson's friends. It's never not going to be Joe Johnson.
It's always now.
So we have a group message now. I opened the group message to send them a text or something, and before I even sent them a text, I changed Joe's name to Joe Johnson. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, it's
just
good.
Deal with it, man. But E-Man wanted to come with, but that was 4 people in the back seat at that point.
Yeah, that's too many.
And I was not totally opposed to that. But then when we hooked up to Joe Johnson's trailer,
Yep.
it turns out the lights don't work.
Oh.
And it's midnight.
Yeah, you're asking for trouble.
And Ohio's law is that you can have people in the back, obviously. They don't even have to be wearing their seatbelts, but you can only have as many as there are seatbelts.
Right.
So with the 4th person there, that was not going to fly. And so I was real apprehensive about going to get the car anyway, because we didn't have trailer lights. And I'm going to be 150% straightforward and honest with you, just like I was to them. If I didn't have a podcast, we wouldn't have gone.
No, it's good content.
At this point, I was thoroughly invested, and I needed to see this through for the sake of the podcast.
Yes. And I appreciate that.
That is the only reason that this happened. So we were able to get there. The 3 drunk idiots pile out of the back of the truck.
Yep.
And run over to the Camaro, which is parked next to a building behind another Camaro next to a Tahoe or a Suburban.
Okay.
They're looking at the car. Tommy calls Camaro guy. Camaro guy goes, "Yeah, maybe stay in the truck until I get there, because we don't want any trouble with my uncle."
Not a good start.
Word, homie.
Well,
So I was able to wrangle the kittens back into the truck.
Yep.
Again, very drunk at this point still. Able to wrangle them back in. It only took them 5 minutes to get there. It had 2 tires on the back that were the same 5-lug, the standard 5-star Camaro wheel, right?
Yes.
The 4th gen Camaro wheel. Everybody knows it. It's a 5-star. The ones on the front were just the silver.
Okay.
And the ones on the back were not holding air and chrome.
Okay.
And for some reason, the RS that was in front of it had the same wheel and tire package set up. So there were 2 wheels off of one car and 2 wheels off of the other car on each car.
Oh, weird.
For some reason, the 4 that originally came on this car, which were not the chrome ones, held air, and the ones that came on the other car, which were the chrome ones, did not.
Okay.
And the guy who showed up with Camaro Guy, who I didn't know at the time, but turns out to be Camaro Guy's dad, he was adamant about the fact that those chrome wheels were not going anywhere.
Okay.
Because he spent $500 on them. And all I could think of is, you got ripped off, bro. But, fine, whatever. Who are we to talk you out of giving us tires that hold air?
Yeah, that's your
when we have a trailer that doesn't have a winch and a car that won't run. Because
oh man,
in the ad, it flat out said, needs a fuel pump, no brakes.
Not a good start.
So we figured, those are things we can fix at a racetrack.
Yeah, you do that.
Dalton's got an extra Walbro 450. How bad can it be? Gets weird. So then they pulled Camaro number 1 out of the way.
Yep.
Jacked them up, took the tires off of them, swapped them around so that the guy could keep his chrome wheels that he spent $500 on. To each their own. And then so we just pushed the car up onto the trailer, and that was pretty much the end of it. So they were rural Ohioans, and as such, they were armed.
Okay.
So that was a little weird. So we just packed our things up and left as quickly and quietly as we could.
We're friends.
As quickly and quietly as 3 drunk idiots and 2 sober idiots who aren't very happy at this point could be.
Yep.
Had to reset the come along 3 times, which is really annoying. I've never used one of those before.
They suck.
They're the worst.
Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah. Joe needs a winch.
And then, of course, you're maxed out at weight at that point.
Yeah,
of what they're capable of.
Yeah, probably. Got it back to the track. On the way home, we were discussing because at this point, Dalton and Tommy were like, this motherfucker's going to make it on the track.
Yeah, of course.
Which I was like, no, it's fucking not. Because we got underneath it. It's super rusty, especially the back half of the car. Super rusty.
Yikes.
So they were discussing where they were going to work on it. And I was like, you are not working on this car in the paddock. I'm dropping this truck and trailer in the boneyard, and we're going to bed.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to stay up and work on it in the boneyard, that's your decision. We're going to bed, and it's not going to be in the paddock.
What time did you get back to the paddock?
3 a.m.
I would have lost patience at that point, too.
Friday night at like 10:30 or 11, there was already somebody on Track Midwest bitching about how loud the paddock was.
I saw that.
But she was completely out of line.
Which is ridiculous.
I don't even care if he's a listener. Completely out of line. It wasn't that loud. It's fucking 11 o'clock at night.
It's a racetrack.
Get over it.
It's a racetrack. You're going to hear
But anyway, so I was like, I don't want... If Tommy and Dalton are thrashing on a Camaro with a rusted exhaust and actually get it to start between 3 and 4 a.m., Track Midwest will be alive with bullshit. And at that point, it would have been justified.
Yeah, 4 a.m. starting up LS with assuming almost no exhaust.
The muffler is cut out. It's gone.
Okay.
And it turns out, so those have 2 cats on them, one for each bank. And one of them is easy to get to until it's, of course, gone. And the other one's a little bit harder to get to, so they tried, but it was still there.
Okay.
So she's a real peach.
I see that.
But... So they agreed that what they were going to do when we got back at 3 a.m. was to go to bed. And then at 6 a.m., they were going to get up and start working on the car. They were going to leave it in the boneyard, but they were going to work on it.
Okay.
And at that point, they had both sobered up a little bit because I didn't let them take any with us.
Probably a good idea.
So it had been like probably 2.5, almost 3 hours since they had any alcohol. So they were starting to sober up. Dalton was starting to be a little more realistic about the fact that this probably wasn't the best decision he's ever made in his life. And that the car probably wasn't going to go on the track. But our kind of like joking goal was to make it the pace car for the GLTC lap on Sunday.
That would be incredible.
So that was kind of the goal. Not that it would actually race it in time attack, but that like it'd be funny to like be the pace car because they didn't have any special cars there this weekend for the pace car.
No, they didn't.
So Dalton honestly went to bed thinking Tommy is gonna fall asleep. He's definitely not going to wake up by 6 a.m. And there's no chance in hell that I'm going to have to deal with this for a few hours. It'll be fine.
Yep.
6 a.m. rolls around. Tommy rolls into our trailer and tickles Dalton's feet to wake him up. Because he didn't want to be rude and wake the rest of us up, which I appreciate.
That is nice.
I really do appreciate it. I thoroughly appreciate that. So, yeah, he tickled Dalton's toes to wake him up.
I can't believe he got him up because Dalton, in previous events, slept all damn day.
Yeah. So they got up. They took a bunch of trips back and forth to the boneyard with tools and parts and implements of destruction. They used Dalton's spare Walbro 450. When they pulled all the junk out of it, they had already taken somebody. So that fuel tank you have to drop to replace the fuel pump. It's in the tank. They were just planning on cutting a hole in the floor of the trunk. Somebody had beaten them to that, so they didn't have to deal with that.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was not well done.
No, it looks like a bomb went off.
And then when they removed it, they just cut everything.
Yes.
So like those are the lines that like you just squeeze a little bit and then push forward and twist and they pop right off. Like you don't even need special tools.
Nope.
They didn't. They just cut them. So they had to find a bunch of fuel line and figure shit out. They were able to get all that sorted out. But obviously, again, similar problems to what Dalton was dealing with the Corvette at Pikes Peak. The fuel pump is internally regulated. So when you put a Walbro 450 in there, you don't have a fuel regulator anymore.
Nope.
So what do you do when it's 7 o'clock in the morning and you're a bunch of hungover idiots trying to get a car to start?
You get a vice grip.
You take the hose and you kink it in half and you put a hose clamp over it, and then they found an analog gauge.
Yep.
And the method for controlling the fuel pressure and flow rate was tightening and loosening the screw on the hose clamp. And also Tommy sitting underneath the hood on the inner fender pulling the fuse for the fuel pump when the pressure got too high, and then sticking it back in when it dropped too low again. That's how they got that car to start.
I'm impressed.
But they got it to start and run. They were able to drive it the like roughly 8th mile from the boneyard to our paddock spot.
Yep.
They had to steal it, so it didn't have a battery in it, obviously, because it's a junk car.
Yep.
We were trying to figure out so Dalton has one of those lightweight lithium-ion batteries. I can't remember. Anti-gravity. It's got an anti-gravity battery.
Very nice battery.
Yeah, super nice battery, but it doesn't have factory GM terminals on it.
Nope.
So they couldn't steal that out of the Corvette and put it in here. Slumlord has gigantic batteries in it, so they couldn't take them out of there and put it in there. E-Man is a 1500 Silverado. Turns out same battery, so they just took the battery.
Didn't tell him.
And the best part was, so after Tommy got in there and tickled Dalton's toes and woke him up, he just went outside, opened E-Man's door, popped the hood, and started taking the battery out. So like Dalton gets out of the trailer and Tommy's 3/4 of the way out removing the battery out of E-Man's truck at this point already. And then they close the hood as to leave no evidence. And then they, at some point early in the morning, E-Man had brought some dogs with him.
Yeah.
So they saw him at one of their trips back and forth, walking his dogs. And he goes, "Oh, how's the car going?" Like, "Yeah, it's going pretty good. How are yours?" And he was like, "Fine." And they both gave him a thumbs up and kept driving, to which he instantly knew something was wrong.
Oh my
Yep.
Poor you. That poor guy.
So,
how long did it take?
I don't know how long it took after that. I think it was pretty quick at that point.
I would imagine.
I think you jumped to the 350Z.
Yeah, of course.
Yep, keys are there. Turns over, starts. Okay, well, there must be the pickup truck. Jump in there. Oh, look, I don't have any power. Those sons of bitches, they stole my battery. I'm pretty sure is how that went down.
How's your...
Pretty good. How's yours? Fine. Okay.
Oh shit, that's so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So they got it running, and they drove it back to the paddock.
Yes. But,
how did it stop?
So they touched a brake line, and it immediately started leaking when they were working on the fuel thing. So
they're all rusted out.
So yeah,
all
the
way
brake
around.
lines are fucking demolished. And so I don't know if it still had some level of brake pressure that it could apply because I used the brakes when we pushed it into the trailer.
Yep.
But that was really it. I mean, they didn't even try to deal with the brake system.
Yeah, didn't bring it through tech.
No, I got out ahead of that problem just in case because I wasn't sure how far they were willing to take this.
Yep.
So I took it under my. I felt it was my civic duty as an honorary Gridlife employee to go down there and tell Adam that if that rolled up to tech, to tell him to just fucking turn that shit around and go back to the trailer.
Yeah. The last thing they needed is that Camaro stuffed in a tire wall or a sand trap or actual wall.
Yeah. That was the saga of the LS1 powered 4L60E Camaro.
But he's got a good engine now. We kept, in the group chat all weekend, I kept trying to get him to swap it into the Camaro or Corvette.
It's not that easy.
No, it would be a huge undertaking.
As similar as they are, they're also totally different.
Dramatically different.
And so things like the computer that's in there, you would have to take the factory ECU and shoehorn it into the Camaro.
And even then it wouldn't work because of the security.
Yeah. I mean, so it's just not going to be a thing.
No, if you don't have a tuner, you're not going to get that ECU to work in the Corvette.
Right. And the standalone that was in there, I mean,
same thing.
Yeah. It's got a tune for a wildly different engine on it. It's not going to work.
No.
But the thought was tossed around of well, I could put it in the Corvette, but I'm never going to get it tuned in time, and it's just not worth the effort.
No, you'll spend 9 hours getting it to not work.
Ultimately, I think he has the drivetrain sold to somebody, and he has a few people interested in parts, and I think he's going to come out a little bit ahead on what he has invested.
Of course,
in
he is.
So
he's going to get a free engine. Is basically what's coming down to.
Yeah. So he's going to keep the engine and transmission to put in apparently a '56 Chevy that he has.
Yep.
And he's already got the engine pulled. Which, by the way, Josh and I, in our Do Not Tell Dalton chat, which Dalton knows exists,
of course,
we put in guesses as to when we thought not only would he touch the Camaro, but when we thought he would have it apart and when the car would disappear. Because the car is still at his... So the engine, I think, either disappeared yesterday or today, but the car's still there.
Oh.
So I'm not going to tell you our guesses yet.
Where does engine go?
He sold... Oh, no. He's decided he's keeping the engine.
Yeah, the engine's staying.
We said he was going to pull the engine and then dispose of the car.
Yeah.
We have dates for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Josh thought that he was going to pull the engine at one date and then dispose of the car at a different date. I believe that both of those things will happen at the same time, but at a certain time in the future.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to say whether it's not so distant or distant future, because the car still exists as of recording, and so I don't want to ruin it yet.
Yep.
But we'll double back on this when it's done.
Yeah, I'm curious what he's gonna do because he pulled the engine out the bottom, and I'm curious.
That's because he doesn't have a cherry picker,
right? And I'm curious if he's gonna take the engine off the subframe and put it back, and then just make a roller, or what he's gonna do.
I don't know. I think somebody's interested in some of the parts, so I guess we'll see.
And I thought he mentioned in the group chat that he was scrapping the shell.
Yeah, that's all it's worth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The T-tops still are watertight.
Oh,
the interior's in. It's dirty and it's trash, but it wasn't wet and mildewy. Last time that car's been licensed was 2014, so it's been parked for a minute.
Yeah.
But the interior wasn't mildewy and nasty, so the T-tops still hold water out. I don't know if those have any value.
Oh, I'm sure they do, but he's not going to sell them.
That he has to.
He hates Facebook Marketplace. He won't do it.
Well, people are coming out of the wood because it's a fucking 4th Gen F body in small town Iowa. Everybody and their brother has one of those parked in front of their double wide, and they need parts.
Oh yeah, okay. So if he doesn't get a message of somebody already asking for a specific part,
these people are
everything else is getting scrapped.
These people are coming to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He will not actively sell a single thing on that.
Right. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
He'll throw $200 away before he'll put it on Facebook.
Absolutely. We kept saying, oh, this is Josh's problem. But Josh was adamant about the fact that it will not be his problem.
Good for Josh.
He told Dalton, like, I think he said, I'll give you $100 for the car as it sits, and then I'll just part it out. So Dalton was not into that plan, though.
No, I wouldn't either at that point.
So, like, I think that Z28 bumper might be worth something because it's in pretty decent shape and it's plastic, so it's not rusted out. The windshield's in good condition. There's some interior parts that aren't too bad. The center console, maybe the seats, I don't know if they could be cleaned up. I think the hood wasn't terrible. Like, it was pretty sun-faded and cracked up, but I think it was rust-free.
Yeah. So, I think
there's some parts here and there if somebody needed them that they could salvage. But I don't think that's what's going to happen with it.
No, I think if he's going to get like a string of people asking for parts, he'll sell those parts and then scrap the whole thing.
Yeah, probably.
But then he made it home safe and sound.
Yeah, we made it home without any issues.
That's good.
As for the rest of the weekend, Ferris Khartoumi continues his utter and total domination of everything that is Gridlife. He shaved a huge chunk of time off the unlimited and overall records, shaved a very large chunk of time off the track mod record, wiping out yet another one of Jeremy Swenson's. I talked to Ferris a little bit towards the end of the day, or towards the end of the event on Sunday.
Yep.
I said, so, because, he's friends with Swenson, obviously.
Of course.
They've been friends for a long time, but, Swenson's moved on to other endeavors.
Yep.
Are you giving him hell every time you wipe another one of his records off? There goes a little more of your legacy. It's almost gone now. Because the only record he holds now is Road America.
Until October.
And I'm sure that if Ferris can put even, a three-quarters flyer lap down, that record won't stand a chance.
No, it won't.
So I think the only way that record stands a chance is if he struggles to get to James's time, because generally what he's done is he's like, well, I broke the unlimited record. I'm going to go ahead and put these other tires on and go out and take the track mod record real quick, and then I'm going to move on with my life.
Yep.
So my guess is that, not having actually asked him, but my guess is that if he struggles to catch James's time, then maybe we won't see the track mod record. Or maybe he'll just say, fuck it, I can't catch James, here's the track mod record. I don't know, we'll see.
Yep.
But, god damn it.
Yeah, so you completely unplugged at that point.
Oh, nice. So, anyway, that was pretty crazy. The GLTC races were insane.
They were super entertaining.
Full on insane.
Yep, that was my breaks all weekend. I would stop and watch
super close racing. It was really good.
Yep.
The wet race was kind of a bummer. It wasn't that exciting.
No, I mean you had 6 guys that were clearly
but they were
doing well.
So the top pack was in the low 135s to 136s, 137s, right? That's where the top GLTC pack was all weekend.
Yep.
And then the fastest rain lap was a 201.
Yeah.
And that's fucking lame. 30 seconds slower is just not that good.
Yeah, it was impressive to watch though.
So Tomo spun out at some point.
Somehow stayed out.
It was 6 or 8 positions down at that point, and then raced his way back through the pack and won the race because he's a freak of nature.
Yep, and he magically didn't get stuck in the sand trap.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
That was pretty crazy too.
Unbelievable.
So that was cool. That was a lot of fun to watch. I know there was some discussion on the GLTC page about minimum speeds through turn 1. So the Sunday Cup guys were doing turn 1 flat.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy because those are fits. Granted, flat was high 70s, low 80s. They're not that much slower minimum corner speeds than the GLTC cars, honestly.
Right.
Which it makes sense when you think about it. It's fine. I guess they were I think Eric Cattell said he was 82 or 85 miles an hour.
Okay.
Something like that. Ferris was in the 90s, which is a 10-mile-an-hour gap, which is huge.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big deal. The car that we talked about at length from spring kickoff that was Exact Performance's all carbon fiber 350Z. That's this insane, unlimited class aero monstrosity.
Yes.
But has stock VQ power. So he's not burning down records.
Yeah, he's at like 250 horse.
Right, but that car went 111 miles an hour through turn 1.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. So that shows that aero is functional.
Very.
Like, that car works well. That car, you get some power underneath that car, and it's going to be a rocket ship.
I can't wait to see what, like, in the next year or so, because I know they have big plans for it.
Yeah. So they were making laps with, like, streamers and tufts in the diffuser and on the wing and stuff like that during time attack, like during timed sessions, like verifying the arrows working the way they want it to and stuff like that, which was really cool. Like I really enjoyed that from like a nerd sense.
I did too.
It was really cool to see that they're like, yeah, like I get that this is timed competition, but like we're out here trying to prove that this car is working the way we want it to and fine tuning and making it faster. They were in the low 130s. I think they ran like a 130 something, maybe a 131. I don't think they got into the 20s. So, pretty fast time considering the power.
No kidding.
So like, you know, like I said, GLTC, a lot of times, like, it's kind of upsetting how fast they are as compared to some of the higher prep, time attack cars. Cause like a lot of those guys are freaks of nature when it comes to driving and those cars are really, really dialed in. And that's one of the things that I, you know, kind of am gently critical about with a lot of time attack programs is that like you have these insane aero kits and this insane horsepower and you're like 2 seconds faster than the GLTC pace and they like have way less tire and way less horsepower and way less aero. Like, what's up? You know, so like I would guess this car is probably pretty light.
Yeah,
it's all carbon fiber,
everything.
But it doesn't have a ton of power, and it was a good 4 seconds faster. So I think that that's very respectable.
Absolutely.
Like I think for the power, I think that shows that car has the potential and that the team is doing good with it.
Yeah, they're clearly in the right direction.
Yeah, so I'm really, you know, I really hope to see that car with some more horsepower under the hood. It'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be a dominator.
Yeah. Another car that I was really excited to see perform well this weekend, Grant Walker in the Mechanical Advantage Racing track mod Miata. That's a K-Swap turbo Miata with a whole bunch of aero. It's a really cool looking car, and it's a car we've seen in years past. But it's, you know, I don't want to say that he's been slow in the past, but, you know, I don't know if he's spent a lot of time with driver development or what, but like the car's a fucking rocket ship now. And like, despite the fact that he's got big tire on it, I mean, I'm sure they're a good sticky tire, and he has tons of aero and stuff like that. Like, dude, he's like full slip angle through corners, just wheeling that car. It was really fun to watch him on the live stream. We talked about him quite a bit because it was a really interesting car. There was a picture you kind of scrolled past right there, that one.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that is, that I'm really excited to see that car like starting to show some pace. The driver and the car starting to show some pace, and like, you know, if you're listening to this, like, I'm not trying to be a dick about it. You know, yeah. I think it's awesome. Sometimes I feel bad saying like, "Oh, finally!"
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like that's not the way I mean it.
No,
not at all.
No.
So, but it's really cool to see that car going fast.
Absolutely.
I like it. So, Ryan Seiler, last little bit on this because he's been kicking ass all year, and we've talked about him quite a bit. The Club TR class this weekend, Ben Thorne, Gears and Gasoline Ben, was not there this weekend. It seems that him and the other Ben from Gears and Gasoline, they switch back and forth. If one has their car, the other does not.
Gotcha.
So that one can focus on content.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense. So he was not there this weekend. Grant Davidson and I can't think of his last name. Jerk. Evan.
Okay.
Green Civic. Feel like a dick because I can't remember his name, and I'm sorry if you're listening. They were kind of Ryan's competition this weekend. Grant like jumped out to a real early lead. Grant lives in Newton, which is super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Grant jumped out to a real early lead in his purple Integra and just kind of dominated the class. Just ran away with it. Like, was way faster than anybody else could touch all weekend. Good for him.
Awesome.
But Matt Williams was also there with his RX-7. Matt was struggling a little bit, but thought he had it. But then Ryan and Evan both passed him. Evan Weeder, that's his last name.
There it is.
Both passed him like in the first session on Sunday or the last session on Saturday. I can't remember which. And Matt like didn't realize that. We're like, dude, what's up? Like they knocked you off the podium. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? So he went out there and he was able to lay down a really fast lap and got second.
Nice.
But Evan and Ryan did something that has never happened before in any Gridlife competition, and there are no rules on the book to determine how this works. I looked at it extensively, and then I went and found Adam and Abe, and they're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously? So their timing and scoring system goes out 3 decimal points.
Which is enough.
Yeah. Evan and Ryan tied to that 3rd decimal point in time.
0.000.
Yeah. I don't remember what the time is now off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tied to the 3rd decimal point.
Yeah, the thousand or
yes,
10th, 100,000s.
Yeah, the 1,000th, which has never happened before in Gridlife competition. There have been win margins less than 1/10 of a second. Win margins in small amounts of hundredths before, but never has there been a full on indisputable tie.
Yes.
So they ended up they're good sports about it. They were both pretty excited about it. Ryan said it. I'm sure Evan would probably feel the same way about this. Had it been first, they probably would have wanted a decision.
Yeah, I think that's
like whether that decision is like who had the second fastest lap or who did that lap first or whatever that decision comes down to, like there needs to be a defined winner. But for the third step on the podium, they were perfectly okay with sharing it. And so what they decided before the podium ceremony was that they were just going to share the trophy. And when we say share the trophy, I mean cut it in half.
Of course.
And so Ryan brought Dalton's Sawzall to the podium ceremony, and right there in front of everybody, he walks up, like they call both their names, and Ryan holds the Sawzall up as he's walking. They're like, "No way, are you really going to do this?" And so they cut the 3rd place trophy in half and share it.
That's
and Ryan
perfect.
said, this is my favorite trophy I've gotten so far. Like
I would,
the first place at PPAR was pretty cool. This was more special.
I think that's incredible.
Yeah,
super cool. You'll remember that forever.
Oh yeah, super cool. And Gridlife shared it on their social media.
Yep.
Talked about how awesome it is that these guys are friendly enough, despite the fact that they're competitors, that they can do something like this and that they're smiling and they're having fun with it.
It captures the culture really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was talking to Jabay, I guess you were on the group chat too, obviously, but we were talking about it last night too. Is like this shows the positive culture that is Gridlife racing and Time Attack and
absolutely
Club TR, all those classes.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, you're not trying to cutthroat anyone else to be the guy on the podium.
So I get like the first place podium argument, like especially because those guys are fighting for points seasons.
Yep.
And like someone needs to be a defined, like I got 100 points and you get 99. This is how it works, right? Like I get that. It's fine. But like they were both like over a second behind Grant. So they're like, obviously they scored points, but it wasn't the best points.
Right.
And this is a better story.
I think so.
So it's really cool.
Good for them. That's awesome.
Yeah. Fun weekend.
It sounded like
it was a deal.
It sounded like I missed out on quite a bit.
I can't wait for Heartland Park, but it's going to be tough to top it.
Yeah, it's going to top it in different ways.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you had a way better weekend than I did.
There were a bunch of people that came up to me and were like, talking to me like, is Heartland Park really going to be like that great? And I'm like, yeah, fucking come.
Of course it is.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be the best.
So there's a few people that I know are making there's at least 2 or 3 people that told me they are making the trek because we said we're going to be there and it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. Our little area of like us and
I've already reached out to a number of people I know and like make sure to find Dalton Stacker, park with us. It's going to be great.
Yep. I have done the same.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like 2 little areas. Like it's gonna be our area and then everywhere else.
Yeah. The losers. Squares, Robbie. L7. Squares.
Yep. I'll be real quick.
Yeah.
I did nothing but change head gaskets and put my Z back together.
It's back together.
Yeah.
It runs.
Took it for a test drive.
The cylinder shop or the machine shop made the turnaround time.
They did. 24-hour turnaround time.
That's insane, Robbie. What is it with you and getting super lucky with this car this year?
Yeah, I feel lucky.
Well, I mean, like when you look at like the trouble that Dalton had with his car and his machine shop, and then like you got that shift rod.
Yeah,
that I was certain was never going to show up. Yep, I was 100% certain that was not going to show up.
I didn't.
And not only did it show up, but it did it on time.
For $28.
Yeah, and then this like.
Well, it was
that could have been 2 weeks. You'd have been like, well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yep.
Like, what are you going to do?
No, I called them up and said, hey, I just need these heads decked, and I checked them to the factory service manual, and like in a couple spots are arguably out, so it should be real easy. He's like, oh yeah, 2 days. Are you sure? 2 days. All right, I'll be there at lunch. Brought him over there, and yeah, he called me the next day, and I was like, with the SCCA meeting up in like Johnson or whatever.
Yeah, at somebody's house.
Yeah, so I was over there. I went straight to Booney's, and then we worked on the MPO1, and then went straight there. So like I couldn't make it to the shop in time. So actually, it ended up being 2 days just because of me.
Oh, by pickup time.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, started working on it on Friday, finished it up on Saturday because of course like the timing cover has 36 volts and like all the RTV. So I went through like a tube and a half of RTV.
Gross. I hate that.
Because then of course the oil pan is RTV'd. The front timing cover is RTV'd.
Like
the back timing cover.
That's not
is
just
RTV'd.
You being cheap and not buying a gasket kit.
Nope. That is what it is.
I don't like that.
Nope. It's really nice for sealing. Sucks a big one when it comes to taking this apart.
I want a gasket.
A gasket would have been a lot easier, especially on like you do the oil pan, then you put it up there, and then you do the. Well, then of course, like if they're not through holes, and it takes RTV with the screw, so of course it fills it. So you take it out, and then you put more in, then it bottoms, and you're like, fuck, take it all the way back out, kind of ream that out, it turned into a deal. It took all damn day. It's like. And it was like 1,000 degrees and 100% humidity. So I'd work until I was like sick of it, watch some live stream, and then if it was close enough to a GLTC race, I'd stick around and watch the race.
Yep.
And then I'd go back to work. But yeah, all Saturday. Yeah, all Saturday I got done. Let the RTV sit overnight. Took it. What did I do? Oh. I don't know where my gaskets were for my headers, or for the downpipes. Yeah. Just gone. Lost them.
Oh, that's handy.
So I used some copper, like ultra copper high temp, because I've done that before and it's worked fine. So like I put that on there and got super impatient. And I just started it up later.
You don't say.
But the worst part was that I dropped the exhaust without thinking, and it just like ripped the O2 sensors out, like the wires from them. So the upstream ones were good. The downstream ones were gone.
Oh, that sucks.
So I got it all back.
That's like $100, isn't it?
No, they were not that expensive. I think they were like 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
Still.
Yeah, I could have like rewired the sockets and stuff, but at that point I'm like, I'm going to screw this up. Yep. Because of course they're like, there's 4 wires and there's 2 colors.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they go.
No.
So I got it all back together, and then I started up on Sunday. Got bled the coolant system. Everything looked good. Like the worst part was that it was like burning all the junk that had gotten on the header wrap. So it was just kind of smoking out the garage a little bit, but like it wasn't anything bad. And then idled, fine. All of a sudden died. Wouldn't start. Fuck. I was so mad. But I'm running it with the downstream O2 sensors not plugged in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. Weird. So like I'm kind of diagnosing it, and like I mess with it for a little bit, and I go back and try it like 5 minutes later, and it starts right back up, and idle's fine. It's like, well, we know it's not timing because it's running and idling fine.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe the sensors had gone bad. Like maybe when I overheated it, I heat soaked the sensors, and like whatever, maybe they're shot.
Right.
So nope. I was like, okay, well the O2 sensors show up on Monday. I'll plug them in. We'll see how it goes. We'll go from there. No problem. Plugged in the O2 sensors, and I don't know if it was just because like. When it got up to temp, like an operating temperature, it was telling the the upstreams that what my actual AFR was, and then my downstreams were in like the closed loop or whatever because they're disconnected.
Yep.
And then since they weren't making any sort of sense, it would just like cut fuel and die. It's the only thing I come up with because once I plugged them in,
I mean, as long as it works, who cares, right?
Because once I plugged in the downstreams, everything ran fine.
So does it overheat?
Nope.
Have you drove it?
Yep. Not extensily, but I've driven it.
Right, but like you couldn't drive it at all really before.
Oh, I couldn't make it down the driveway.
So we accomplished. Yeah, mission accomplished.
Basically, if I give it, and it appears, yes. Well, I'll do some more this weekend. But yeah, like anytime I put any throttle in it before, it would just puke compression into the coolant system.
Yep.
Whereas it's not doing that anymore.
Awesome. That's got to be a relief.
Yeah. No, it sat and idled and bled. You know, the swirl pot bleeds itself. So I mean, it just sat and it bled and got to like a happy place. And I'm like, great.
Sweet.
So feeling good. Should be basically ready for Topeka.
Good.
For sure by the time this comes out. And that's it. That's literally all I did. All I did for like the last week was head gasket shit.
You've been stressing about it, I know.
Yeah, kind of. And then quick before we do our super long show, remind everybody to head over to ApexTrackCoach.com, get your ApexPro unit. We'll have at least one spare when we're at Topeka. If someone wants to borrow it, give it a try. I should have told Scott to send me his Gen 2 so I could use it.
Oh yeah,
he's been bragging like I got the Gen 2 and you don't.
Yeah,
I want one so bad. But if you want a Gen 2, get your name and head over to ApexTrackCoach.com and use the code 10tenths and you can get was it like 10% off? So if you get a window mount, which is basically a free window mount, and then some percentage off on the Gen 2. And it's most cost-effective way to get the data. The app is super convenient, and then like with the new CrewView app stuff, because like Scott was using it. I was talking to him quite a bit at Mid Ohio. He was he had spotters because he had Becky as a spotter, and then he had I can't think of who else it was, but they were using Race Hero as well. So like Becky's telling him all these things like, hey, like on race on CrewView, you're here, so I'll talk to you. And then so they were using that CrewView to help spot. So like a good example of one that was super effective was that they were going to throw green at start finish rather than at the other side of the track.
Oh, when they black flagged?
So when they restarted.
Or yellowed, maybe? I don't remember now.
Yeah, I think it was a full course caution. And
full course.
And they were starting back up. And normally you start the race on that back straight.
Yep.
On the restart, they start at start finish. So Scott was the only one that was aware that they were going to throw green on that straight. So he made a huge jump, and that was because they used CrewView from the ApexPro.
Oh, snap.
Yep, because Becky's like, hey, by the way, they're going to throw green right there. Be ready. And he was the only one.
Nice.
So yeah, ApexTrackCoach.com.
Talked to Andrew Raines for a while this weekend.
He was there?
Yeah, he was there. He was coaching.
He seems to do that a lot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, super cool. He was there with another BMW driver. I don't remember who off the top of my head. A GLTC competitor. Yeah, there for the weekend. Hung out with him for a little while. Talked to him for a bit. Great guy.
That's super cool. Yeah, I like Andrew a lot.
Yeah. If no other reason. Like, the support is from the nicest dude on the planet.
Yeah.
So.
ApexTrackCoach.com. Adam, this is a long show.
Let's shut her down.
We should shut this down.
I'm tired, Robbie.
I will catch everybody with Adam next week.